Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Something More Than Gibberish. We missed the show last week because I was otherwise occupied. Tonight we had John Chance Acevedo and Miidnight, the poet Phil Curtis, locked in for today, but unfortunately John Chance can't make it. But the show will go ahead with Phil Curtis. You'll find him a very interesting character. Got over 40 years of expertise in writing and a hell of a nice guy. Funny, good poet. But without further ado, we've got... Hi, Gemini.
Hello, sir.
I'm glad I could bring you up this week compared to a couple of weeks ago when we had our technical issues. But I was just saying to the audience, we've got a kind of different problem today with John Chance not being able to make it. But we have got Philip Curtis, aka Miidnight. So
I think Miidnight's feelings because he said, unfortunately.
He called the unfortunate. Yes, he's on fire already. Without further ado, let's bring up Philip and get this show on the road. Welcome everybody to the room. Good to see all the regular faces here. I'm bringing Philip up now. And have you been well, Gemini?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How about you?
Been a busy week with work. Hello, Phil.
What happened? What happened to Gemini? I think she ain't on there no more. Oh, there she go.
I think she got.
I thought I was going to get rid of 2 people today.
She got.
Oh, you
wait. Oh, real talk. Renee, I don't see you. I don't see you, Renee. It's just a black screen.
You did get rid of 2 people today. Bravo, Miidnight. Bravo.
Well, hold on, real talk.
Ouch. That's a hiccup that's been happening with IG Miidnight. Yeah, it's happening randomly to people where you can't see some or all the people on the screen, but we can see you. And
it's called Zoom.
Yeah,
Zoom.
And I do believe the audience can see everybody. Welcome, Onyx.
Who's in the Onyx in the house? Black Noise in the house. My sister.
I think
my sister Rosalie
the whole
in the
fan
house.
club, man.
Man, this is not a fan club. This is like they ain't doing nothing else, and like might as well press the button. Well, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna try and pull you up on my phone and see if profanity.
Miidnight, it's only you that cannot see Rainier. Everybody else can see all 3 of us, including me. So it's fine.
Okay. I'll be quiet then.
Can you hear him?
So,
okay.
You know how normally Gemini is everybody's conscience. Today, I will be your conscience speaking from the dark.
Oh, God help you with that.
Oh, gee, she's on fire this morning. It should be a great show. Look out, Miidnight.
Wait, okay, I got you on my phone so I can see you, so I feel good about it.
Awesome.
Okay.
So, again,
I'm at work.
It was unfortunate that Chance couldn't make it, but nevertheless, we'll reschedule another show. The reason I say that too is because I have been privileged, or Gemini and I have been both privileged to hear one of your collaborations together about your mothers, and I think you two play so well.
Correct that. You see, I should be the one upset because I was waiting to hear that poem tonight. I haven't heard that collaboration yet.
Oh, right, okay. But so we will definitely organize scheduling another show in the new year, hopefully when Chance can make it as well. But meanwhile, tell us about you, Miidnight. Now, you've been writing for over 40 years. You've got a book out. You host a lot of live venues. You're very experienced in this field, and I think you've got a lot to offer people. And also, I'm really, on this show, one of the things we like to do is to get to know the person behind the poems, you know, like how did it start, what brought it on. And so the floor is yours, my friend.
Ask a question, I'll answer it. First time I ever was on a mic was February 1st, 1980.
I was a little spot, still crawling at that time. Thank you. I needed to remember that.
Yeah, February 1st, 1980 was the first time I hit a mic. The first poem I wrote was entitled Childhood Thoughts. It was for art class. And art class, we had to write a poem and draw a picture.
What grade was it?
And seventh grade.
Dang.
Wait, hold up, my boy is here. Wait, hold up. No, shh.
Yes, he is. Let's bring him up.
Well,
God, Lord, don't do that.
Mr. John Chance, are you able to come up?
Oh, Lord.
He put in
Hooligans. Hooligans.
So
Whatever,
let's rewind all my spiel at the front of the show. We have got the great honourable John Chance Acevedo with us as well. The gods are kind to us today. Welcome, Chance. Welcome. We're really glad you could make it.
The gods were kind before. There was a little
God.
Both of our features.
This is a setup. Y'all don't know? This is a setup.
Miidnight.
This is a setup.
This doesn't make you any less special, Miidnight. I appreciate you, even if like Rainier doesn't appreciate you. Chance, you know I love you. But Miidnight, I really appreciate you. I love you too. So like, just.
Did you see how she smoothly, with that drive-by, just slapped me on the head as she was driving by? Rainier doesn't have. Miidnight, I'm at your shows every week, the ones that you and Chance run. And Gemini just did a drive-by on me and dropped me down in front of the bus there.
At least I didn't reverse the bus.
Welcome, Chance. Glad you could make it.
Renee, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Chance, can I help you? Can I help you?
Miidnight.
Hello?
Take a deep breath. You're not hosting tonight.
Not at all. Rainier sent me he sent me a Zelle so I can buy a new phone. He said he really needed me to be here tonight. He didn't want no parts of you being on the screen by yourself. He knows how much help you need. So Rainier, I really appreciate it. You know, Rainier got old money, so he sent me money that he's saving from 1969. And he was just like, just take this chump change for now. I got you. Don't worry about it.
69 was a good year, trust.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being able to make it, Chance. It really is an honor, mate, to have both of you on here.
I just want to be clear. I'm the something more. That guy's the gibberish. So let's get the show started.
Oh, the shots are firing thick and fast here.
Hey, Chance, ever told you I broke my finger?
You can't break your finger on this show. You can't break your finger.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
Oh man!
Finger, and it's the pimp hand. Like you can't break your finger on this show. It has to be like this one.
No, that don't count. Hey, trust me, these things don't even come together anymore. That hurts.
So Miidnight, you were answering a question, and then we will ask Mr. Chance the same question. So, 7th grade art class poem.
Yeah, we were supposed to write a poem and draw a picture, and I drew a picture of a little. The name of the poem was Childhood Thoughts. I drew a picture of a little boy, thinking of himself being rich. some people's kids. And I'm trying, and I drew a picture of this little boy trying to be rich, thinking of being rich. But then, and it was a then and now picture. So the now picture was a little boy, that same little boy grown up, but I drew a little bum, and he was on an unemployment line. The ironic thing about that is I work for the welfare system. So it was crazy how that, just from my first poem, that became full circle in a weird way.
Mm. Mm. That is amazing. That is amazing. There is always that inner knowing, isn't there? You know, that draws us down certain parts of life's roads, right?
And I've taken care of Chance's case for the last 25 years.
So clearly, this is the problem with the Brooklyn school education. They're teaching poetry in an art class instead of teaching it in English. So clearly, we have issues there in the school system. We're not gonna dwell on that too bad.
Whatever.
It explains
Black
a lot.
schools are worse.
So, Mr. Chance.
Yes, ma'am.
Phil has given up the floor. So, what made you get into poetry? So, do you remember the first poem that you've written?
Oh Lord, he's still trying to write his first official poem.
Third grade.
Google, how do you spell? Come on now.
It was a third grade English class. The teacher asked us to write. We read a story. She never read the last chapter, and she said,
"Isn't he copying my story and twisting it?"
No.
Miidnight.
My class was English class. Yours was art. Not the same. We are not the same. So, in the class, we were reading, not drawing stick figures. We were reading a story, and the teacher was like, "Last chapter, you finished the book." So I wrote a story about a girl named Jessica Rodriguez who didn't want to come to school because there was stuff going on at home, and she was afraid to come to school because something would happen to her mother. So after class, every Jessica Rodriguez was called down to the main office. And I was called down to the main office, and they asked me, like, which Jessica did you write the story about? And I said, nobody. The teacher told us we can finish the story however we wanted, so this was what I made up. What they didn't know was that the story was really about me not wanting to come to school because my mother was in an abusive relationship. So the idea was not to come to school, to stay home so I can protect my mother from my stepdad. But at that time, you couldn't tell your teacher that, because then you will be taken away, put into a foster home, or taken away and put somewhere else. So my whole thing was just like, let's just make up these stories about, whoever. And then my teacher even asked me, she was like, that's a really, good story. How did you know? I said, well, you told us that we can make up any story. We have a license to create whatever we want. And she was just like, wow. So even through that, because they thought that I was lying about the Jessica, I was still kind of reprimanded and put into a resource class, because now they wanted to find out why I would write such story. And then so that's how it happened. And then a few years ago, I met this guy named Philip Curtis, and I heard his poem, and I was like, if he can do this, whoo, baby, I know I can do this. But yeah, so third grade is how it happened.
Well, that's very commendable and speaks of your virtues as a person, which we've, as adults, in the short time, is evident to me, and I'm sure to people that sense of not wanting to go to school, to be that protective figure at that early childhood. I mean, that's very commendable, Chance, and that is a reflection of who you are. And Miidnight, as you said, you know, we have these aspirations, especially if we are born into some tough times. As kids, we have those dreams, we have those aspirations. And my friend, it's great to see what you do. And remember, from those early childhood aspirations, to see you now, as you said, working within the social work system to give those other kids a chance, the kids of today, that's commendable too, my friend. You know, and I think it's the authenticity of both of you that lies beneath. Yes, the jest is part of life. I jest a lot, but people do not see that's almost camouflage as a person I'm within. But both your authenticity is why the chemistry between you two when you do your lives, man. Honestly, as I said in the flyer, the caption, you two are that modern day Lauren and Hardy, that a modern day Abbott and Costello. You know, you two really gel, and that's because the authenticity and the genuine connection that you two have. As true friends, you can say anything to each other and no offense is taken, right? That's really good. Phil's clearly having trouble being serious here for a minute. And man, I got to say, I met some beautiful people on these platforms since I started getting involved on these lives. And I'll tell you what, you two are amongst the best, you know, that I've met in terms of that authenticity beneath the layer of jest. I really have not met two more genuine people like you, you know.
Gemini Fox is on the screen too. Does include.
Gemini knows how much and in how much regard I hold her authenticity and her work. But this show is, and this is why the first person I asked to sort of do this was Gemini, because I really respect her profoundness in her poetry, in her views into life and as a person. And we're honored to have both of you. And when I say I mean, I'm speaking for both of us, you know, like, and the show, it really is a blessing to have both of you on. It really is. Miidnight, I'd love to, do you still have that first poem you ever wrote as that 7th grade kid?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I would love
I'll be on my deathbed and remember that piece.
I would love to.
It was entitled Childhood Thoughts. Once upon a time, I thought the world was mine, but I was only 4 and thought that every door would open up to me and life would be carefree. But now that I'm an adult, I can clearly see that life just isn't so. That was it.
You have it memorized.
I will never forget that piece.
Yeah.
It shows not much growth has gone into his writing since 1969. It's good to know that you still have the same cadence, the same flow, same delivery. That's awesome, brother. It takes a talent. There's a specific talent you have to show no growth in your writing after 40-something years. You know, I commend you. I don't know too many people. Well, I do know one other person, but we're not going to mention that person here. But that's awesome, bro.
Can I give initials to that other person? Pop quiz?
No, John Chance. Number one, maybe he found his poetic voice early. Let's lean on
man, you know what I hate about this? You can't mute someone, because there's no way she's going to give that person that much grace. Where's the mute button? Hey, Rainier, can you mute her?
I wouldn't be game enough to, man. I'm a man's
You're just going to kick
his
folks off.
and I would not dare mute her. I fear him for my life.
Look at that look. That's a. If you mute me, you're gonna have a nightmare tonight. Nightmares.
You know actually you're in Florida, right? And I'm in Florida.
Ooh.
You're closer than Rainier. You're closer than Miidnight.
Yes. but I know the flood waters are up to your waist, so I know you're not coming all the way down here.
Oh, I saw
Ka-ching.
that one. Wow.
No, no. To be correct, it's like right about here.
I am glad I'm glad I'm an innocent bystander to that comment. Shot fired. Ooh, I'll be treading very carefully crossing the road, Chance.
And how about you, Chance? Do you have any poems that you've written in the past that you care to share?
Do I have any poems that come again? My English is not very good looking.
Do you have any poems that you've written in the past? Any of your old poems that you'd like to share? Something that you look at now? Because
He asked me to share my kindergarten poem. Look at that.
So for Miidnight, it was.
She knows the progress.
Go ahead, love.
So you know Miidnight's progress, so that's why you didn't ask him about a poem.
For Miidnight, that was a pivotal poem for him. It was his first poem. It was vivid. It has meaning because he ended up in the same career field of the narrator. So not the narrator. He ended up in the career field that helped the narrator, the person who wrote the poem, the child turned man. So that's significant for him. So that's a poem he pulled out. What is the poem that is significant for you? Your poem.
Go ahead, poet. I like that. I like how you clean that up. That was you must be a janitor the way you cleaned that up. That was nice. That was awesome.
So for those in the room, this is Chance's book, which I've got the privilege of having a copy. I haven't got Miidnight's book out yet, and it's called Sketches of My Rights by John Chance Acevedo. Highly recommend it, folks. Heartfelt piece. Before you get into your piece, Chance, I just got one question. Now, your line of work is also in a very specialized field of work too. Maybe share a little bit of that, like you work with special needs children, correct? Teaching.
Yes. In Florida, I work with children who live with autism spectrum disorder. Yeah, you can walk out. It's okay. So the beauty about working with children with autism is that you learn how to ignore behaviors. So like Miidnight wants to step out, I'm not gonna entertain it. I just tell him, give him exactly what he wants. So if he would like to leave, it's perfectly fine. You can exit and we'll still be here when you come back and have your body break. Okay? You need a body break, Miidnight? Because if you need a body break, you can take your body break. And we'll be here when you get back. Yes?
Now, I'm just going to take a break and shave real quick. How about that?
Okay, you can do that. Clearly, your barber went to sleep and hasn't woke up in a few months. But go ahead. Yes, you can go. You can go take your body break and shave and do what you have to do. Man, I wish there was a mute button. So, so yes, I work with children living with autism spectrum disorder. When I lived in New York, I worked in the special ed field with the New York City public schools. Unfortunately, I worked in Brooklyn because clearly they needed me the most there with all the children. So I worked in Brooklyn for many years. My first experience working with children was in Harlem for an organization called the Harlem Children's Zone. And then I worked in Brooklyn at a public high school, EBC public high school for public service. I worked there about 8, 9 years. Then I stayed in Brooklyn because I liked it that much. So I stayed in Brooklyn and worked for an elementary school. So I went from high school to elementary school, still working in special education.
That should tell you something if you went from high school backwards to elementary school. I'm just saying.
Yes, it means that the children in Brooklyn, whether high school or elementary school, they're all the same. They still need a little extra caring. And this is why I've helped Miidnight and carried him for the last 3 years. You know, I'm just here to serve my purpose. And I think my purpose is to help the children from Brooklyn. And I think that's what God put me here for, to help Brooklyn children, specifically one Philip Curtis, Philip J. Curtis, help him. So I did that, and then when I came to Florida, I was looking for work, and I ended up working at an elementary school here, and then I found the school for children with autism, which has been rewarding. All my years, 20 plus years working in the school system has been rewarding, just because of the work that goes into helping and molding these children. So that's what I do. I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoy every part of it, even the hard days, because there are some tough days. But I enjoy working with children with special needs. I work with the young adults now, so I'm doing life skills and job training and culinary arts with them, and just how to do laundry, how to do basic life skills. Because unfortunately, should something happen to their parents, it's difficult for you to ask a family member to take on that responsibility if they don't have that experience. And if we worry about our general kids or our typical kids, you know, who takes care of our atypical kids? And that's the hard part. Like, if their parents were to pass, some of these kids are nonverbal. Some of these kids cannot function on their own. You know, I had a scary experience recently. We found out that one of our students walked out the house, went to Walmart, grabbed 2 CDs, walked out of Walmart, and came back home. And his older sister had no idea that he had left the house.
Wow.
So, you know, it's things like that you worry about. Like, should something happen, like, I have children, something happens to me, I still worry, what will my kids do without me? But for a child who can't really grasp danger or can't grasp everyday necessities, it doesn't know how to fend for themselves, it's like, you know, what would happen to them? And unfortunately, there hasn't been a concrete answer. Like, there's no programs that'll be like, hey, we'll take them in and still give them a quality of life. So, and it's hard. It's difficult.
So, question, my dear. The children that you're with, that you fall into early adulthood, were those the same children that you started with? Because I know that a lot of the children, and I love the way that you put it, not typical. Instead of saying normal or abnormal or normal and disabled, the terms that you used was, it gave such dignity to the people you're referring to. So those children, did you follow them to young adulthood? Because I know they need consistency.
So fortunately for me, when I started at the school, a lot of the children that I'm working with, so the answer is yes. But fortunately for me, when I started at the school, they were in high school. They were in high school, leaving high school. So they're all done with high school. And when they started this young adult program, they specifically asked me if I wanted to transition with them. And I said, sure. Like, why not? You know, and for the parents, it was good for them because they knew who was going to be with their children, and we've already built a relationship. So now the hard part is, once they turn 22, what's next? And if they don't have a skill that they can fall back on, then, you know, what's next is they stay home. There are a few programs. One of my buddies is on, if he's still here, he works for a program called Ken's Crew, and they take in children with, or adults with autism and train them and give them work. They're able to work 4 hours a day, or they're able to work up to 16 hours as a part-time job, and that they get to decide how they want to work. Do they want to work 4 hours a day? Do they want to work 2 8-hour shifts? Whatever the case may be.
Nice.
So there are programs, but it's hard. It's hard to watch the kid leave you, and then you're still wondering, okay, this kid is gone, but I know he can't do a lot of things on his own. What's going to happen to them?
Yeah,
You know, and unfortunately, that's one of our fears.
there's a program here in Florida, in Brandon, that is the same. It's kind of like a day program, and they help them with life skills, and they assist them whether they're going to get a job or not, especially if they show that they want to be independent. They try to support them in that, but it's hard. I applied for that place, and it was just they're very protective of the children and of the young adults, and it was beautiful to see that. But yeah, definitely.
One of our early guests when we first started the show, Mindful Warriors Way, Michelle, she's from Canada. She's actually, her son is actually suffers autism, or born with autism. And she too works in this field of special needs. So she would absolutely, if she watches this show, I will definitely share with her. She would really love what you had to say there, John, or Chance. I've had friends who had Down syndrome children, and I've watched them growing up through through their journey. But you're right about at the end of that education period, I saw my friends sort of, they were thinking, trying to get these kids work ready in places, and trying to even put them in a unit so as to teach them to be able to live by themselves unsupported, in those places, obviously very close to them, and they're monitored, and they just didn't just get them a unit and throw them out. They just nurtured that growth. That's a continuous thing that to you and me, you think, yeah, my son's okay, he's X years old and he's on his own and we can rest easy a bit, we don't have to be that close. But even that continuous education, as you said, and you form this bond with them through those early childhood, and then to see them go, it's really like taking a piece of you out. I fully understand that.
Yeah. I mean, if it's hard for teachers in a general ed setting, and I've seen them boo-hoo cry when their high school seniors leave because they're off to college.
Yeah.
Knowing that they're going to be okay, it's hard for us. Like every year, every graduation, we're always like, all right, what's going to happen next? Like, who's staying? Where are they going? And some of these parents still call us like, hey, we're moving. We've had parents move from where I am or where the school is in Kendall, and move all the way to Tampa by Gemini. And a lot of them is like, they still keep in touch with us. Like, are there any resources? Do you know of anyone out here? So it happens.
All I can say is your own children are very fortunate to have you as a father, my friend, for the depth of your care, your genuine, authentic care. It's not a job. It's a genuine passion. It's a genuine care. It's a genuine love. And I think I don't think I say your children and anybody that you associate with, nieces, nephews, are very blessed to have a person like you in their life, my friend.
Can you say that again? I don't think the guy from Brooklyn heard you.
Including the guy from Brooklyn. He's very, I'm sure.
Just want to be clear.
The beautiful thing about this is that what connects the two of you is the fact that both of you do serve communities that usually are overlooked. I can tell you right now that I don't have a job, and going to an unemployment office is demeaning. It's disheartening. You feel like, what's the use? And to be able to continually serve people who are looked down on by society, because there must be something wrong with you, because there's supposed to be jobs everywhere. Or as
Yeah.
a parent, there must be something wrong with you. Why can't you take care of your child? To be able to grant people grace and to take care of those communities and give them the dignity that they deserve, and to do it for so long. And I believe that's what connects the two of you together, that the character of serving and just wanting to genuinely help people all together. That's why the two of you are connected. Although you'll give each other a
You know,
hard love, is good to watch.
you know, at the same time too, like whenever I have a new worker that comes in, before COVID season, I used to do the new hire introduction class. So we don't do that anymore, but we still have like one-on-one new hires, and I always tell the people that come to work for the county, I hope you're not here for a paycheck, Jack, because if you're here for a paycheck, then your mindset is different. You're not going to succeed here. You got to want to be here to help. You know, there's child protective services here, and sometimes, trust me, it's hard to watch a child taken away from their parent. But real talk, you made it get to that point. But I had a girl that was going to hire 2 weeks ago. She came back and withdrew from the offer because she's like, I don't think I could take people coming at me like that. So you got to be cut out for it. Trust.
Yep, that's a valid point. There's certain professions in life that you do not do for a paycheck. Nurses are another one. You know, my son's partner is a nurse, and actually my oldest boy's wife is also a nurse, and I see some of the stuff they go through. You certainly don't do it for a paycheck. You got to have that care if you want to succeed in that field. And teaching, on the whole, needs, you got to have that passion, you got to have that love for children, authentic love, let alone kids with special needs. You know, so
it could be a family thing. It could be a family thing for me because my sister, one of my sisters, she's on here too. She was a teacher as well.
Yeah. So, Chance, before I interrupted you, you were going to share a piece.
We still doing that?
Yeah.
You frighten him. You frighten him. He says share like oh shoot.
I'll share this.
Oh boy.
Things get better. Things always get better. You won't understand it at first, but know that all the hurt and pain you are going through will all work out. At the end, you will question God. You won't get an answer directly, but watch how the doors open when you least expect it. Watch how doors close. You need to get rejected. Basketball will always be your escape. Yes, I know you're short. Your heart, not your height, is what wins. Never give up. Even when the odds are against you, there is a fight in you that goes unnoticed. Right. Believe that you too have a story that needs to be shared. There will be a black and brown boys that look like you, that bleed like you, whose daddy never stuck around to give them their last name. You will father kids that are fatherless, and they will remember you. And you will father kids. Your mother will forfeit angel wings because you haven't grown up yet. Education is important. I know you will think that money you are making is great. The degree is key. They can't take that away from you. Remind your kids. Establish your credit early. Apologize to the hurt women that hurt you and the women you have hurt because of it. Your father has yet to grow up. You won't receive any responses from the letters you have sent 3 years after your first meeting. Know that that isn't your fault. The spirits always will guide you. Poetry will show you the schools you are smart enough to attend to, but not financially able to be there. Do not fight bigotry. Do not fight racism. Do not fight hate. Know that people who throw stones are picking them up from the buildings that have been crushed on them. You will meet people with $52,000 slick talk and $100 style with a $20 budget. Comedy, quick wit will help you. Don't troll as much as you are going to. Some people are sensitive, especially if they are from Brooklyn and don't understand your sense of humor. You will see more funerals than college graduates. You will see more baby showers than weddings. You will be the exception to the rule. And remember, regardless of what is happening, remember that love is always the answer.
It's such an encouraging
poem.
Excuse me?
You took a shot at him in the middle of your poem.
Well, you know, that's my ad-lib game. My ad-lib game is real in these streets.
I'm from Brooklyn before I'm from New York. He can't say that. Trust. The Bronx. The Bronx. Whatever.
So, Chance, that piece, it's very encouraging and empowering. So was that based and stemmed from self-reflection, John Chance talking to the inner Chance, or?
Yeah, so there's this guy, right, that he always gives this stupid prompt. And the prompt is, hey, write a letter to your 12-year-old self and share it. No one else can write this but you. You know, so I was just like, you know what? He may be right. This is a guy from Brooklyn. He always gives everybody that prompt. Every put it in the chat. He's like, hey, thanks for coming. Oh, you don't have a poem? Hey, write this poem. Here's your prompt. Write a letter to yourself. So, I mean, it is a good thing to do. And it's kind of like a memoir, right? So what part of your age would you write to yourself at? You know, but I'm giving him too much credit. His mind doesn't work like that. So it would be great if it was a memoir style where you say, hey, Rainier, I need you to write your life from 35 to 45. Tell me what that looks like. You know, Gemini, I need you to give me your memoir from 29 to 32. What did that look like? You know, and you take bits and pieces of that and create your own story, because everybody has a story. It's just, you know, some people don't know how to tell their story as well. Clearly, I'm not pointing any fingers. I don't know where he's at in this, but there's ways, you know, there's always ways to share who you are and share bits and pieces of yourself. And this is definitely I would never put in writing prompts given by Miidnight, because that would just, no one would believe it. First of all, even if it's in writing, they won't believe it. But that's what this was. This was him talking a whole bunch of crap and saying, hey, let's write this. People should write this. So I wrote it.
That's so sweet.
It's a great.
Give him credit. That is so sweet how you gave him credit, and how gracious of Miidnight to be silent while he's rolling and unrolling his index finger, middle finger.
It's called maturity.
Yeah.
Maturity.
No, that's not maturity. It's definitely not maturity. Miidnight. Could you grace us with another poem, Miidnight? I know you shared the first one, and somebody kind of beat you up a little bit concerning it.
Thank you for letting me know I can take my cigarette break.
Can't with you.
You know, so some people's kids, man. One of the things I believe in, especially if you're like a performance poet, I believe that you should have 3 pieces. Three pieces. You have to have 1 or 2 opening pieces. Your closing piece can go according to the audience that you're performing. Your closing piece is never the same. It goes according to where you're at performing. But you have to have 1 or 2 opening pieces. you have to have a signature piece. Your opening piece and your signature piece can be the same, but most importantly, I think you have to have a timeless piece. You have to have a piece where 40 years from now, somebody will sit back and like, that makes sense. Still. So,
here's a question. How do you write a timeless piece for people who don't know? Does that mean you don't put specific dates, or you don't mention specific people? How do you write a timeless piece?
it's a subject. You take a subject. For example, you wrote that piece, your first piece that you wrote in third grade when you finished that story. Anybody could relate to that. That becomes a timeless piece. The piece with the daughter wanting to see her father, people can relate to. That's a timeless piece. Classes are tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'll send you the Zoom link.
After this, so let's hear a piece from you, Miidnight. Where are you going to start with your opening pieces?
A professional will always take a drink of water before he performs, so he don't be going on like this while he choking and trying to get through the words. You respect the audience. He doesn't like that.
You're an audience of one. It's just you staring into the mirror. Like how?
One person's the audience, man.
You
I show up to your junk. I show up to your stuff. I'm like, anybody else coming? You're like, nah. No. All right, go ahead.
You're right.
So this is right here is an opening piece, somewhat of a signature piece as well. I want to thank you all for coming, because the only thing that a poem wants is to be heard, but I dare you to listen. Pay more than the usual attention, become the intervention that can help teach our adolescents. You see, some of our teenagers have gone astray. Internally, they feel a certain way. Confusion meets depression. I heard it's been said that absent fathers still teach vital lessons. And bullying gives you the personal view that you're less desirable, a powerless individual. Teens succumb to sex, drugs, and drinking due to suicidal thinking, and that's just the beginning. Rap lyrics are winning. Clipping and I gotta get mine, replacing real dreams with the dreams of selling drugs. Being put in the street life at 13, not sure if you live to see the age of 14. And parents, some parents aren't even parenting because they too are still children. So I dare you to listen. To the boy that buys pants that don't fit so that they can fit in. To the children that have the delusion that it's cute to wear high heels, tight jeans, and makeup. Little girls that envy adult women, underestimating the power of flirtation. In the meantime, you're grown men that want to fulfill these desires. When these desires become fertile, it gives birth to sin. Maybe we can still teach our children, even when they're not listening, hoping one day they'll remember, instill in them self-esteem, morality, and life's realities. Teach them spirituality that can be passed on from generation to generation after generation. Again, I want to thank you all for coming, because the only thing that a poem wants is to be heard. But I dare you to listen. The thing about that poem as well, I wrote that poem, and this could be a challenge to some poets if you do workshops. I wrote that poem in order to create a workshop, and with the 4 P's of poetry: pace, pitch, power, pause. As well as, for example, in the poem I say that speak about fathers, and I pause right there. And the reason why I pause is because the audience is going to say, he doesn't know my father. What's he going to say about my father? The next person may say, oh, I never knew my father. How is he going to tell me about my father? And that pause brings the question marks to them, and they bring the focus back on to listening to you. And then the next line after that, when you just went through this rundown of your father, various people in the audience, the next line is, absent fathers still teach vital lessons. But everybody in the audience can connect to that, no matter what. Because the person that had their father, they're going to be like, dang, if he wasn't there, I don't know what I would have done. The person that didn't have their father, they, like, you know what, that's true. And they could take, even though that was a negative situation, they could take the, absent fathers still teach vital lessons, and boom, they could take that and say, when I become a father, I'm going to do this, that, and the third thing so that my child doesn't repeat what I had to go through.
Yes, couldn't agree more. That line on its own is such a powerful line in that piece. And you're right. It does pique your interest the minute you hear a line or a word that you can align with straight away. Amazing piece, man. And certainly in your recital, your years of experience certainly comes in performing live venues. Now, that brings me to another point that I'd like to really expose and showcase to the audience and to those who will listen to this recording later, be it on podcast, YouTube, or Instagram. You two do a lot together in considering your geographical placement as well. You still managed to do a lot of live attendance, and you both had a history of hosting live shows at live venues and so forth, and performing live, and your paths crossed there. Between the two of you, I'd love to hear more about that journey.
He likes to talk.
You scared him off, Miidnight.
He's not getting off. He's going to speak. Come back. It's okay. I'm giving you the floor.
I figure you go first since you're closer to it. Go ahead.
Oh! So check this out. What happened was, it was July 3rd, 2020, when COVID season had kicked in. It was June or July 3rd of 2020. It had to be July. No, June 3rd, 2020. So they decided, somebody here in Colorado decided they wanted to do a verses with poets, because they was doing verses all online and whatnot. So there's a poet that lives here in Colorado Springs. She's from the Bronx, the BX. That they like to do that when they say the Bronx, whatever. They do it like that, but it's flimsy. So they do. So she's from the Bronx. I'm from Brooklyn, as everybody knows. I'm from Brooklyn before I'm from New York. Emphasis. Anyway, background is Jamaica West Indies. Anyway, so they had this versus thing, and they decided that they wanted to invite people, blase, and she invited the guy in the screen with the daddy shirt. She invited him for some moral support, and we had this battle thing. I don't like battle. I don't like competition when it comes to poetry, because you cannot. If somebody went through the worst crisis ever and they present that as a poem, how can you score that? How can you score that? That don't make sense to me. And then again too, how can you score something that might be sensitive to the judges? By default, they're gonna score you low. I don't do that. The only thing I would do a competition is a haiku competition. And rumor has it I can't be beat, but we're not gonna talk about that either. Bruh.
Let me sip on this tea.
Drink up, bro. Drink up. So what was I saying?
Exactly.
Oh, so how we met? So afterwards, we had an after party on Zoom after that versus was over, and Chance and a whole bunch of other people came through. And once you put Brooklyn and the Bronx together, we're gonna smack talk each other straight up. It's just That's what you got to do. You got to smack talk each other. And then my birthday was February 10th, and I was like, yo, I want to do a online open mic. Let's continue this and do an online open mic. I'm like, bro, you know, we kind of clicked on the Brooklyn. I allowed him to use the Bronx thing, and we clicked like that. I'm like, let's do this together, and boom, that's how it started. So he calls it the silver lining of COVID season.
Yeah, because you know, I mean, it is what it is. Had it not been for
See how I handed it to him, and he knew to come in. 3 years. He knew to come in.
Had it not been for COVID and having to find other ways to connect with people, and do virtual open mics and do virtual Zoom meetings and things of that nature, like even going live on Instagram. Had it not been for COVID, I would have never met Miidnight, would have never met you two beautiful people, and wouldn't be on right now in the future. So like, where else could you do this? Like, you can't really do this anywhere else. So it is a beautiful thing. And he was just like, hey, this is my idea. What do you think? And even though he's older, but as far as experience, I have more knowledge. I had to sit down the young grasshopper and explain to him how this would work. Wow. You know, because with great knowledge comes great responsibility, and I have to be able to share that. Spider-Man quote, because he's from Queens, not Brooklyn. So I had to make sure that he understood where this can possibly go. So, you know, that's what I do.
Is there a superhero from the Bronx? Pop quiz.
This is part of
Pop
my...
quiz. Is there a superhero from the Bronx? Name one superhero from the Bronx, and not Pookie at the corner.
Well, technically, Miles, if we go back to the comic books, but we're not... Miidnight doesn't read. They don't teach certain skills in Brooklyn, like reading comprehension and looking through the text. So that's what happens. This is all part of my giving back to the geriatric community, and this is why I'm here helping out. One, Philip, Jay, Curtis. You know, I do my due diligence. I know I haven't always been a good guy. I was a horrible teenager. This is what I do. This is me giving back.
This is penance. So he's saying that this is penance. You're paying penance.
Yeah, it's weighing heavy. I should have picked something else, like feeding dogs after dark. But you know, this is what I decided to do.
Oh no, you enjoy this. You absolutely enjoy. This is the best part of the month.
So it's true what they say, from the biggest trials and tribulations, the greatest gifts and growth is born. So COVID brought us many, globally, many challenges and tribulations, but from those trials and tribulations, this beautiful marriage in heaven was evolved, right? The Chance and Miidnight show. Well, there you go. See, there's always a silver lining on every cloud.
That's how y'all see it in Australia? Okay.
I can't with you. But the poems that you guys have shared, so your background would come into it as well. Because both of you talked about a troubled youth or a troubled past. Chance, you pointed out all of the ways things could have gone wrong. And Curtis, you pointed out some avenues that kids take and things do go wrong. It's amazing. Y'all are connected, and y'all did not know that when y'all were smack talking back and forth.
Chance, love to hear another piece from you, my friend.
So this is the how it's supposed to be done part of the show, and then we'll go to the this is what not to do part of the show. You know what? Part of my giving back to the geriatric community, I'm gonna give Miidnight credit for this piece also. Yeah, I'm gonna give him credit for this. This is a My mother would tell me stories about a curly-haired Afro-Latina, white nose that inhaled struggle and tobacco leaves, exhaled ambition and cigars. Told me about this beautiful melanated figure whose hands she would hold, whose hands would break bread, knead arepas, make mazamorra. This woman who will come and comb her hair, change my diaper. This woman who would pray over me since before birth, call me her king, call me her life. What is a fair exchange for a few minutes of her voice? My mother would tell me about Holy Week back home, how this woman fed all 5 of her siblings, 4 of her children, 8 of her grands. Man, there is a void in this vessel I wished to fulfill, I wish could be filled. My mother said Christmas were far better, told me how this woman, who is her mother, loved with intention. My mother told me about a grandmother who lost her life in a city paved with gold and had blood poured all over it. A city that never sleeps. A city that never sleeps, but distracted driver behind yellow cab right before Christmas. My mother apologized to me as if she had fault and told me that she feels so bad about what has happened. And I told my mother, we will be okay. In an attempt to make things right, she always wished 1979 was the year winter never came.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So tell me, most of your pieces are they, I know for myself.
Inspired by Miidnight? Absolutely not. We will not give him that much credit.
So what I was going to say, but thank you for asking.
I'll brush my solo off just because.
Most of your pieces, are there what you'd call transparent pieces? Are they about your life? So they're first person, second person because of your lived experience?
Absolutely.
I love it.
If you people who pay attention and listen to me or listen to what I write, you know, it's funny because a lot of people be like, "Oh, you're so creative," and "Oh, you know, your imagery and this and that." And at first, it would bother me, right? Because I'm just like, no, like this is what I lived. This is not make believe. Like, I didn't just kill off my grandmother who's sitting in the corner chilling. Like, my grandmother really died in 1979 on Christmas Eve. That's why my book was published on Christmas Eve.
Oh, what an honor.
That's why I set the price of my book $12.25, because on Christmas Day is when my mother and I came to the United States. It's the reason why every Christmas, no matter where my mother is, she makes it her business to come to wherever I am and wherever my sister is. My sister and I live here in Florida. So every Christmas, my mother comes and spends Christmas with us. Because her whole thing is just like, she knows what it's like to not have her mother on Christmas. She doesn't want us to go through the same thing.
It's beautiful.
So a lot of it is that, is, you know, it's me trying to. When I first started doing poetry, every open mic I went to, it was heavily African American and white Caucasian. If there was a Hispanic in the room, he was cleaning the floors or serving the tables. There weren't too many Latino or Hispanic poets in the poetry scene, oddly enough, in New York City, or at least I wasn't around them because of where I lived. I lived in Harlem at the time. So I wouldn't see too many people who spoke my language, both of them on stage. So every time I wrote, it was just like, Oh, okay. Since I'm not represented, let me represent.
Mm.
So it's why a lot of my poems talks about family. It's why a lot of my poems, I use Spanish in them. It's why I have to, whenever I recite, I make sure that whoever's listening can be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know Sasson. Oh, yeah, I know Goya, or whatever the case may be. And it's funny because there's some kids who will look at you and say, I didn't know you were Spanish until I heard you do the poem, or I can relate to that poem, or you're the first Latino artist I've heard in a very long time. And for me, it was the same thing. When I was coming up doing poetry, the only Latino poet that was tangible to me was Carlos Andres Gomez at that time. And that's my brother now. Like, you know, so yes, all the poems are transparent. And it's part of me, like, letting people know we are here and let's make some noise.
We certainly have a lot in common in our writing. Mine is based on my events in my life or the thoughts that events have transpired. That's why I don't hardly ever write for prompts and all, other than if I'm bored and got nothing else to do. It's based on life events. So in my two books, it's all about my journey through life, but put in a poetic form. And I certainly identify with the losing somebody significant at a significant time, because my father died 2 days before Christmas. We buried him 2 days before Christmas, and my mother died right on Mother's Day. So they both made sure that we'll never forget them. So, and it's hard, you know, it's hard to be happy at Christmas for your own children, you know. And it was a challenge to me. So what I did was, what the joys that mum and dad gave us at Christmas, I wanted to be able to give my children any Sunday. So I had to heal from that. So one Christmas, I remember leaving my mother crying at the door, and I took off in the hills for 2-3 weeks. I was just in the bush where no human beings, where if I wanted to cry, if I wanted to scream, I could. Nobody to put their arms around and say, son, it'll be all right. And I healed from that. And then since then, I was able to enjoy a Christmas. I fully identified with that. And I too released my first book on my father's birthday, and coincidentally the second book came out right on my birthday. The first book came out on my birthday, and the second one actually by chance came out right on my father's birthday. Probably the third one might come out on my mother's birthday, who knows, as a tribute. But sorry to digress there, but I could really align with that.
We put stamps and do creative writing. I mean, you know, we get creative with what we write, and symbolically just to symbolically to put it in there. I released my book on February 1st of 2023. February 1st, 1980 was the first time I was on a mic. Boom.
So
tell us a bit about your book, Miidnight. What's the name of it? Maybe you got a copy, show it on the cover, or?
I have a cover. I keep it at my desk so my coworkers could buy it. What's It All For is the name of the book. The first time my father saw me perform, as we were driving home, he said that was good. I enjoyed it. And his rhetorical question was, "What's it all for?" That became the title of my book.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
And that's a very, very evocative question on what's it all for. We've all asked that. We all ask that. And we continue to ask that, you know, when in days of our lives, we'll continue to ask that. So it's a very, I love the title. Now, you guys, do you run joint workshops as well in writing?
You know what? We have not done that yet. We have not did collab workshops yet. A couple of people have asked about it if we would do a collab workshop, but we haven't done it yet. somebody doesn't see my vision, but we're not going to talk about that.
Well, we're two different heights, so I can never see your vision, brother. I'm sorry.
Isn't it? Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
so
I haven't met y'all in
that
person.
part. Come again?
Huh?
Met y'all in person. Who's taller?
He is. He is.
That's like asking who's handsomer. Of course,
Oh,
it's me.
wait,
Come
hold on.
on,
I shaved. I
come
don't
on.
know. I shaved. You good?
Well, he may look handsomer to you because he may be your height. Oh, you may be looking down on him.
Don't say like
We will,
that.
we will see. Cause you're gonna bend over and be like, oh, you're so cute, the little baby, with your googly eyes that you do all the time, or the googly eye app or whatever it is. So that's what's gonna happen in real
Oh,
life when you see Miidnight. Your eyes are gonna bulge out, duck lips. Yeah, that happens.
Now,
Now, I mean, doing the writing workshop, people have an idea of what they think a writing workshop is. Miidnight doesn't believe in that idea because it's
actually,
not.
it would work because one of us wants the finished product. One of us wants to do the product gradually. So
Yes.
once we do it right, we could break it up, and one person takes the developing, and then boom, he takes the finished project. So we do it differently.
Yeah, and
So once
in a lot of
we figure out
workshops,
how we want to do it, will work.
it's here's a prompt, here's a poem here's a poet who wrote something similar. Now go off and write.
I don't like those. That
And then
makes you
you're
talk to
left
other people.
you're left open. Like for me, I just feel there's no closure there. Like you're open, right? Like so I just opened up this wound. Now go handle it by yourself.
Ooh,
I hope you finish it.
ooh,
And
okay.
for me, it's not like that. For me, it's all right. Miidnight is gonna open the wound. Y'all gonna work through it, and then after you work through it, then we're gonna figure it out, finesse it, and then we'll have closure, so you know where it came from, why you got there, and how you heal from that.
Mm.
I think a lot of times we go to workshops where you're opening a wound, but there's no closure.
I never thought
So
of
if I leave
that.
you with a thought that you're having a hard time getting through, and I log out,
Mm.
you'll never
Still,
see
I
me
go.
again. I don't know. I don't know how you're dealing with that.
Mm.
That for me, it's not a problem, but I would like, and I understand some writing workshops are too long. Some writing workshops they don't have it's not allotted for that, right? But I think if you create a program where it's like, okay, yes, we're gonna send you off to write this on your own, but here's an opportunity when we're gonna come back and reconvene and talk about it and how did that feel? You know, I just think there has to be some closure, even if the poem is not done, but that you have that support throughout your writing process, especially if I'm opening up the wound. Because it's hard to go through things on your own.
It is. And I can see both viewpoints of wanting to go ahead and to get someone started, get them inspired to write, let them know that they have a voice to write. And I could definitely see the other portion. And you're speaking my language with focusing on healing because that's what I'm going to school for. I want to be a counselor. So I think that just like with everything that you guys have done, the combination of the two of you in a workshop would be freaking amazing. I can't imagine the amount of things that Philip could pull out of someone, and then you guys work on it together, and then you helping them kind of encapsulate that and find out where that goes. If they want to share it, if they want to put in a book, or if they want to keep it to themselves, to just say, I lived this and I am here now, and this is no longer my life. This is
Yeah, and then and if they want to share it, that's when we would combine, and now boom, this is how you perform it. So in the end, we bring it together, and like, this is how you perform it from two different perspectives of performing, and it works. So yeah,
when does can I sign?
huh?
When does it start, and where can I sign up?
Trust it. The funny, Chance has worked with groups, and I've worked with groups, you know, and it's not easy working with groups. Getting 4 and 5 people together to perform and blah blah blah. It's not easy to do that. I believe, because we went to New York and we did 3 shows in New York, and then we went to Cali in July and we did a college and 4 shows. But as we went in, I think from the experience that the both of us had, as we went in together performing, we already knew how this was gonna go. That I'm gonna feed off you, you're gonna feed off me, boom, 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 and that's the good part of the chemistry.
Now, on that,
it's almost like natural.
As you said, you two feed off each other so well. And on that note, just to showcase,
somebody's named Miidnight Books. I got rights.
Yeah. So to showcase how well you two resonate and work well together, I want to give Gemini a gift, and that gift is, I'd love if you two can recite that collaboration that you both recited about your mothers.
Wait,
and
can
to those
can we do two?
Yeah. Oh, you can do as much as you like, man, because I've got no time restrictions. It's my Saturday, right? So you guys can go as long as you like until Instagram cuts me off. To the audience and to those who will watch this show in one of the channels, please sit back and listen to this. This is heartfelt. It's a gift to Gemini, but it's a gift to you all. Please sit back and listen and enjoy this piece.
So, let's do native tongue first, bro.
I'll be right back after these messages.
Some people's kids, man. Some people's kids.
So the message is that
you got. See, here's the thing. You got to read the audience and like, boom, let's go, let's do that. He should have been like, yeah, let's do that. He's like, oh, okay.
Miidnight.
Like, come on.
Miidnight. Be nice. So Miidnight, you and Chance have a show every other Wednesday, the second and the fourth Wednesday. Did I get that right?
Second and fourth Wednesday on Zoom. We don't do IG. It's called Put in the Chat. Let me see if I can put the information in the chat so that people could come through.
Awesome. But it's a Zoom. It's called Put It in the Chat. It is hosted and co-hosted by Miidnight and Chance, as well as Stephanie. So there is a Stephanie that is not me.
Stephanie's our publisher.
She's a publisher, but she does share the list of names when she is there. But it's a beautiful group to visit. And it's amazing poets sharing amazing poetry. The information is in our chat right now. It will be added to Instagram, Miidnight or Chance. You can jump on there and do that. So it will show on my page and on Rainier's page. So this is going to be amazing. So I can't wait to hear the poems. I'm going to shut up now because Chance is back.
Oh, the professional has to drink water. Let me do my due diligence. Kool-Aid jammer.
Taken from the kids. You good? You good, bro?
By the news I'm gonna get.
All right, let's go. Bing Layla. I wish I could speak to you in the native tongue because Black history didn't begin from the western tip of Africa, Ghana, Nigeria.
España, Europa.
Places along the coast.
Mil afro-latinoamericanos han sido robados.
Making the transatlantic slave trade easy.
Imagine not being given an option.
Black men, women, and children taken to pick and grow white cotton from the master's gold. Sold, hung, watched us burn. Them white folks in fancy clothes, slave television. Roots, watched by many, but not remotely the beginning of our history. Ari Munjani.
I wish I can speak to you in a native tongue.
Because rather than being taught, we should know our history, what we think of ourselves, and where we come from.
Indio, mestizo, tainted skin, altered culture. Imagine living with the hue of your oppressor for the rest of your life, tanning to wash away white from raped ancestors. I have inherited pretty eyes and some privilege until I'm asked to speak.
So take a journey. Find out what happened before slavery, because we know more about lions, elephants, giraffes. God's creation, although beautiful, but what about the African people? We are more than malnourished, starving children with flies flying, never stopping to think why the TV and movie screen focus history around Europe and Asia.
Francisco Pizarro, Hernán Cortés. How comfortable would you be knowing the name of the individuals that murdered your existence? What if they had streets named after them? Watched how they were praised in your classrooms and being asked to shh, it's not the time.
But time overdue, because from K through 12, we are taught about enslavement and colonies, systems that erased our identities. Missing is the true history of our Blackness in our children's classes. Minimizing gross violence as if we were the cause of riots.
Truth be told,
Truth be told,
more to our history than
there's
oppression
more to our history
and suffering.
than oppression and suffering. Molu Unjanu.
We wish we could speak
to you in a native tongue. Sit down on ground as storytellers bless us, the true history of our ancestors, the beauty of Kenya, the Congo, Zimbabwe, an adventure in culture where kings and queens sat on thrones, down the path of a mental and spiritual transformation, learning about Ghana and the nation of Zulu, know thyself, an inspiration often written by the Egyptians in their temples, fruit and gold turned into civilizations, pyramids through mathematics, well before any known philosopher.
Imagine Machu Picchu royalty in gold and silver. Naked walls don't keep records of our family. Quipus did, knotted strings that served as reminders.
So resurrect the spirit of our ancestors, because we came from greatness in order to be great. I wish I could speak to you in a native tongue.
Not having it stripped from you and given another one. Not being forced to learn what the conquerors learned. One universal language is not better than the hundreds of beautiful tones that make us unique. We wish we could
speak to you in a native
tongue. Tell you more about our history. Because it's not just
a land
in which our ancestors were taken from.
And now I feel teased. I want to hear that in person.
the synchronicity, the timing, it really shows how well you two are connected. It really does.
He got a stopwatch. That's why I got a new phone. I wish. Oops. That's what he's doing. It ain't no chemistry. That dude.
That was beautiful. That's beautiful.
Amazing. And we all globally pretty much live in multicultural sort of societies, and I think that's so relatable, right? When we look at my neighbour, I'd love to know more about. I've got an Albanian neighbour, and I've got an Italian neighbour, and I've got a sixth generation Australian across the road. Love hearing their stories, and sometimes I remember as children where you don't speak the native tongue, and communication is hard, but you still manage to communicate and play together as kids. And the synchronicity of the way you two played that really shows your professionalism and really shows how much in sync you two are. Albeit whether it's through a new phone, stopwatch on a new phone, it's still there. It's amazing.
No, that was beautiful. I'd love to hear that in person. Because I know that having to share a screen and knowing that when one voice starts, the other one may be drowned out, that you guys had to share it in a certain way. But I would love to hear the syncopation of your voices over each other, over a microphone in an open air space. That would be absolutely beautiful. So I look forward to having you guys. I look forward to having you next year. So I'm excited.
You're going to go straight onto the gift to Miss Fox?
I think we'll probably end with that. So you let us know when we're ending.
No.
Well,
yeah, we'll end with that piece.
Excuse you, sir. What?
No, no, sir.
Oh,
We'll end with that piece.
One. I thought you meant this one.
No, I mean when you want, we'll do that piece, of course. But we'll end with that piece. If you want us to talk or anything else, yeah, we could do that, or share anything else, we'd do that. But we're gonna end with that piece.
Okay.
Well,
so what?
Okay.
I have one to ask.
So the end, I'm gonna leave that destiny in your hands. I have time, Gemini. I'm not sure about your schedule. If you've got nothing pressing, it's totally up to you guys. Okay. We've been going for about an hour and a half, and we've got plenty of time. As much
and you got over 75 years of experience doing this thing, so almost 70 years of experience, so we good to go. Trust.
Well, you can play it any way you like, because I know you've got family commitments and your timing.
I live with a fish.
To go ahead, and normally we with one featured guest we might go an hour and a half, hour and 3/4. We're doing 2 here, so we're gonna go to 3 hours. I'm fine with that. 4.
You're doing one now that I showed up, but I get it. You're being modest. Thank you.
But Miidnight, what do you live with, a beta fish?
Yeah, his name is Sir Lucius Miidnight the First.
I knew. I knew it was a bait fish.
It's AKA the Fourth, but we're not gonna talk about that.
We just.
Be nice. I'm sorry for
the. Real story. So when I first got him, right, it's a 5-gallon tank that I put on the wall. So when I first got him, I had him in the wall in the bathroom, and so the pet store has a thing. If the fish die in a day or two, you can bring it back and get another one, no problem. So what happened was I had him, and every other day or so he kept dying. I'm like, yo, what's up with this? He keep dying. And then one day I took a shower and I had to go back in the bathroom for something, and the steam was in the fish tank. So I was boiling that dude on a daily basis. So now he's in the hallway. This 5-gallon tank in the hallway in my home.
Okay, correction. He didn't keep on dying. His brothers died.
Yeah,
He
true that.
survived. All of you
Yeah, he
killed
couldn't
his
survive. It
brothers.
was funny though.
Miidnight, you killed his brothers.
Yeah, I was boiling that dude.
It sounds
I was
like
boiling
a
them.
bit of a
It's funny.
Gestapo torture chamber going on in that bathroom there.
Pretty much.
Oh, well, I'm glad you figured it out before we got to the 10th. Oh my God.
I know. It was funny.
I only said you killed hers.
No, I didn't. It died.
Just like that.
Wait. Was it in your care, Miidnight?
Huh?
Was it in your care?
I paid the rent there.
Okay, so since Miidnight, you talked about timeless pieces. Would both of you care to share your individual timeless pieces? Because I want to hear.
I don't know if he has one.
Stop it. Speak for yourself. You're not.
Bro, I got one. Back pocket.
New York City is an amusement park, and I've been on every ride. Entrance to this world pays for your ticket. Unwed mothers under 18 pushing strollers filled with little people, not midgets. Kids carry balloons to share with parents who just don't care. Drunk man stands on concrete tightrope as he struggles to stay on. Stay up, old timer. Stay up, viejo. Damn, that overproof got him bad. And he falls just as hard. Sorry, no net, papa. Just the rooftops we would jump from to get away from police. Homeless veteran doing knuckle push-ups for change, because that's all fighting for the USA taught him. Onlookers tell him he should take his act on the road. And he says, I already have. In these streets, for free, where tips are appreciated, but being all that I can be just isn't enough. Ain't no magician turning tricks from Brooklyn to the Bronx, no rabbits out of hats, pickpockets tax the next man's wallet, as I watch from my seat on the number 2 train.
Amusement park. Extra, read all about it. My Brooklyn is a Coney Island circus. All types of acts are in town, where random gunshots are abundant. Brooklyn, same old situation wherever I roam. Animalistic behaviors, wagons unload. 4-legged creatures take stages, where elephant is always in the room, terrorizing our neighborhoods. These culprits are clowns, changing faces, trying to survive these big cities places. Criminals sometimes held accountable for what they do. Well, what about the city's ringmasters that support failing schools and mass incarcerations in a place where guns are readily available? So I ask, what is gun control when encouraged to carry? Victim, me or you? Politicians are acrobatics, flipping the narrative for votes. Cops like Liberty horses run free and perform without supervision. These pigs put themselves above the law, and monkeys are shot down. When it's not the cops, you gotta know how to throw hands and not be victims of the get got. And even if when you know how to fight, in my hood, someone always stole a circus bike. Chaos, violence, anarchy, a wonderment to strangers, little shops with intense competition, slums to suburbs, millions of people, money, ideas, increasing tension. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up.
Underpaid trainers watch way more than 3-ring classrooms. You can't beat the students the way the animals get tortured. Maybe if they could, you think they give them a worthy salary. All smiles for show. Cries heard each night, just like most of our lives. Crowded, sold out shows like overpopulated cities. Clowns squeeze into one car the way we squeeze into roach-infested one-bedroom apartments to make ends meet. You may laugh, but this rent ain't no joke. Spectators don't give two shits. There's no oohs or ahs, just stares of disappointment as they walk past you, shaking their heads. Bastards just made out on one hell of a show, living in the clouds, but they'll pay top dollar when the circus is in town. Not me. Forget Barnum.
Or that other dude, Bailey.
I ain't paying to see a show that I watch every day for free. No fake laughs, no illusions, just reality served cold with different animals, same tricks, and this amusement park, starring real people.
For no pay.
Where every seat is the best.
And it's open 24 hours a day.
Why didn't y'all warn me?
What's up?
Why didn't y'all warn me?
Why? What for? What you wanting you for?
Damn.
How does what does Blackwater say? I am the trigger warning.
Word up. We don't want nobody.
And
you know what you signed up for.
from a writing perspective, the collaborative effort is brilliant, but the delivery, every collaboration I've been blessed to hear you guys recite together, the transitions in between lines and the flow, and where the rollover, even the parts where you recite simultaneously, as Gemini pointed out before, particularly on a screen, it's pretty hard to do, so as you're not talking over each other, but you do it so well. Miidnight, I know you said before it's how we see it here in Australia, but man, the synchronicity, the connection, the bond that you do have, it's a marriage made in heaven. You know, one thing that I really value, if I'm very comfortable with somebody, is when I would jest with them. If I've got any reservations, you would never hear me jest with them because I'm always watching their moves, right? But when I laugh and joke with somebody and tease somebody, you know I like them, right? And that's true friendship. The fact that you two can say whatever to each other, even publicly, even on a public forum like this, but there's no offense taken, and that's true friendship.
I mean, it shouldn't be because it's truth.
Bro.
When it's truth, you can't be offended by the truth. Not one lie has been said on. I gotta bring your show some credibility. I told you I'm the something more, and he's than the gibberish. So I have to bring your show true credibility. It's all facts.
But honestly, I've got a lot of people are thin-skinned, you know, and they take offense at that, and it just puts that gap in that friendship, man. And you two really, it comes across in your work, it comes across in your recitals, it comes across in your banter, from two totally different cultures, from different parts of the world. Well, I know you had that river separating you guys, right, when you were growing up, but even now you live geographically dispersed, but you still, when you work together, as Gemini said, man, I think I would love to see you guys perform in person, because I've enjoyed everything that I've blessed to hear with you guys on the Zoom, put it in the chat, and today, incredible. I'm stuck for words, it really is. And I think seeing you in live performance, having a beer with you guys, man, I would love that, you know. And I do hope I'm blessed to meet each of you in person one day, man. And if it's all together, the four of us sitting around having a beer together, man, I don't have many things in my bucket list, but that I would love.
And for the rest,
That would be crazy.
I would not be drinking beer. It would be hard apple cider or Bailey's. I'm just saying.
Go into Bailey's. You won't remember anything.
It would
Just
be.
wrong.
Wait, hold on. Hey, Chance.
Yes, sir.
What was that other one? We had, it was the same prompt, but we didn't write it together. It was the same prompt. What's the name of that one? I forgot.
This is where the dimensions coming in, Chance.
I heard in my head and I can't remember. Take all the time that you need.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, there it goes.
It's it.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first? This was a.
I have to find it, but Rainier, you play sports? Yes.
Yes.
So I think that's where it comes from. Also, I think all the trash talking comes from, if you ever played sports. I mean, I think that's what it is. Like, what it is to go back and forth with the other team and talk trash, and it's a little bit ego, but it's also it's a little bit like bravado, like trying to show off that you're better than the other team, and not to get offended if you're playing sports. It's part of the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it easy. And growing up, when you grow up in the neighborhoods we grew up in, snapping, playing the dozens, or talking crap about each other, that's a pastime.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And that's so true. I never thought about it that way, because you're right. Like in the ring, I've had to fight friends. Matter of fact, my very first tournament, martial arts tournament, in the final round, I had to fight my cousin, a cousin that I was close to. And I could not bring myself to go him. Lucky for me, in the fight previously, this guy had got me and broken 2 ribs, and my cousin happened to hit me in the ribs, because he had me down like 4-1. I was gone, man. But his 4th point, he got me on the ribs, and I saw pain, and I've just gone into instant reaction. I've gone bang, 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 and I won the fight 5-4. But he had to hit me in the damn ribs, and I had to feel that physical pain because I couldn't bring myself to hit him. I mean, like, we were probably, amongst all my cousins, he and his brother were probably the closest to me growing up, and his mum and dad were there for us, and for my mum when my dad died. So I struggled to look him in the eye and go for him there, right? But yeah. And you're right, in the banter on the playing lacrosse and things like that, like people used to, back then, through the years of racism in Melbourne, which touchwood is not there, or certainly in a different level now. It's much better. People knew that they could press buttons and I would dance. So somebody would say something and I would forget it, man. Lacrosse stick in hand, I was going for them there. Next thing, I'm in the penalty box. So he gets sent out, and then I've taken fights back to the shower rooms, right? Until I learned, all right. But that's a valid point, that sport field, yeah. Because if it's a damn advantage for somebody could press a button, get me taken off the field, or make a comment in the ring where you start focusing on the comment that he's made as opposed to fighting at a subconscious level. And that costs 2 points. That costs you getting hit. That costs you broken ribs, So, yeah.
It's every sport except baseball, because it doesn't take much to play baseball, but every other sport is 90% mental. Baseball is the only sport where you can suck and still be someone. Like you can. Baseball is the only sport where you can be below 1. You don't even have to be one whole number. You can be less than 1 and still be great. How is that possible? The
Best
guys,
sport. Hey, the beauty of baseball versus all other major sports, it's not timed. So I could be up by 20. That third out may never come. But in
it is
other
now.
major sports, you're up by 20 with 3 seconds. The game is, you know who's gonna win.
It is now. You got a 24-hour pitching clock. That is
Yeah, that's a
the
pitching
dumbest thing.
clock, but that doesn't have nothing to do with the outcome of the game. That has
It
nothing to
does.
do with the
Now,
outcome.
what's
It's
the
beautiful.
pitch? How do you have
Man, can you play?
a
Can you play? Can you
0.252
play?
average and you make the Hall of Fame?
Ooh.
That's a,
Mm.
you got a 0.2 grade average. You made it out the hood. What the heck? Shoot.
No, you and I could go and take a break if you want. We still be going at this, bro.
Oh, this guy, I hate his guts.
Oh, that sounds like love to me. That sounds like true brotherly love.
Hey, you know what? The rumors are true. I appreciate you speaking the truth. Everyone has their own experience with you, from your favorite poet to the person just starting. Imagine me trying to rebuttal, and I heard he is difficult to work with. From the people I've never broken bread or worked with, arguing with them is pointless. I heard he's an asshole. Yes, that's true. I'd weed through the BS. I can read people when they see less, no poetry snob, but experienced listener. So pardon my non-existent cigarette break as I walk outside as you start your poem. While you over-deliver an introduction that the poem needs no introduction to. Take all the time you need. Take 2 weeks, if you please. I heard them say I rub people the wrong way. My massage certification says otherwise. I made my friends in high school. The rest of you fools are an added bonus. Honestly, seems not to be the best policy, so you probably much rather give me your hip-hop nod and pat on the back. Well, that's not me, Jack. I'm penmanship years old. I'm rolling TVs into a classroom, thick skin, this battles for lunchtime. We used to hurt others and talk about each other's mothers as a pastime during lunch with cheese, fish sandwiches. They don't even serve that anymore in public schools. Clapping for subpar is not me. Cliche in your poem that my third eye contact can see while my heart bleeds and all this hand movement and any other R&B lines you want to sing, don't bring them to me. Plagiarism is still alive, and as far as that poem that needs to be rewritten, take all the time you need. Take 2 weeks if you please, and be mindful that paper or text, it's okay to delete, delete, delete.
Amazing. Gemini, you want to say something?
Imaginations and diamond rings. Imaginations and diamond rings. Flowers, friends, and family. Bridal dress. You look like princess. This the day to be one of the happiest of life incidents. Promise of a long lasting. Commit to commitment. Or could it also be a phase one might grow out of? Love. Because LOVE comes with expectations that sometimes surpasses realities. So take all the time that you need. Your time keeps on passing as alone swerves into loneliness. Eating away at me is past history. Reading between the lines, wondering if she'll comply to forever screw just one guy. My heart is still sleeping, wanting her to be the first thing I see. Eyes closed tightly, although maybe could be right in front of me. But I'll only know her when she is gone, questioning if I was right or wrong. So take all the time that you need. Giving in, overthinking everyday decisions. Taking all the time you need to discuss bills, parenting skills, credit debts, your religious affiliates. COVID still being in season, childhood traumas to converse. sexual expectations that we'd want to share just between us. Take all the time that you need, but remember that tomorrow isn't promised. Neither is the rest of this day or this poem. Never allow love or the desire to be loved to prevent you from being the one that you love. Relationships. The ending belief isn't about a wedding ring. What else to each other's life that you bring? Love be the last word when love alone isn't enough. There is so much more all-encompassing. It is sometimes all too much confusing, but take all the time that you need. So that was the same, we had the same prompt, and
Same
of course it's
prompt.
going to come from different angles.
Very different perspectives.
Beautiful. I like that.
Really, in both of them, so many lines you can resonate with, and Miidnight, in your take on it, many could take away so much into their own relationships, right? Of love, whatever that is. Amazing. And hearing them side by side is, or sequentially, this, yeah. Man.
So rumor has it, we planning on doing another book, but it will be in the book, like prompts and the collabs that we've done. And right now, the name of it is Silver Lining, because this is all the silver lining from COVID season.
Yeah. Well, I think that's an amazing idea. Like, and Miidnight, I've still got to get your first book as well. What's it all about, or what's it all for? I've got to get that, but certainly look forward to having a collaborative piece, man. Here,
I got your address. I can send it to you.
We're blessed. Thank you. We're blessed to be able to hear you guys every fortnight. Well, on the show, and meet with you every fortnight on the Zoom. Although you rarely perform your own pieces there. But yeah, definitely on the bucket list would be to see you guys and meet with you in person.
Yeah, and those of you who are just joining us and you do not know what the word fortnight is, they're not talking, Rainier is not talking about the game Fortnite. It's every other Wednesday. So put in the chat is the second and the fourth Wednesday of each month. So a fortnight is every other. So y'all got that? Okay, now you know a new word. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gemini, for doing that translation between Australian and American English. Thank you. We use fortnight a lot. Sorry, I didn't realize you guys don't use that. Yeah.
That's a game. It's a game here.
So now, recently you two did a roadshow. Any others planned in the near future?
That's on Gemini. We trying to do Florida in March, because Chance's wife got her on handcuffs, so he can't go too far to the left or right anymore for a while.
So,
but you know what? Real talk. When we went to New York, that was home, so that was different for both of us. But when we went to Cali, that was crazy because we didn't map that out properly, but we went all over the place. But at the same time, it was cool just sitting back when we weren't doing shows. His kids were calling him and like, Dad, what you doing? Take pictures of the menu, what you eating, and all that. That's cool, man. I enjoyed that. That was cool. And, you know.
So
they well behaved and they're smart. I don't know how, but yeah. That still got me. I'm gonna write a poem about that. How you got well-behaved children.
So if I was a smart man, I would be putting in plans to try and get to Florida in March. So then with the one stone, I can meet all three of you lovely people in the one place. So if I was a smart man, that's what I should be doing.
Yeah.
As long as it's not March 28th. March 28th is opening day of baseball. My
Nobody
New York
cares.
Mets. I got
Have mercy. Do we have to talk about your other girlfriend? Like, poetry is really starting to get jealous.
Nobody
This is
cares.
about poetry, not about your other girlfriend, okay? That hoochie that you keep on your head. Take that
That
baseball cap
hoochie.
off. Go on, Bobby, that hoochie baseball.
Called her a hoochie. That means
Yeah,
everyone had her.
everybody has had her. And she always has a ball on the back. Like, really? 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 And everyone's always touching her bases. I mean, really, stop
She
talking
say,
about
yo,
her.
hoochie always plays with balls and bats. Yeah, what are you talking about here? This
Like,
poem went after dark. Quick, my kids are still up. What's wrong with you, Gemini?
no, I'm talking about baseball. They're all sliding into base. And stop talking about poetry. Stop talking about baseball during poetry. This is poetry. Poetry. Give her the respect that
I got baseball time.
give her the respect that she deserves. This is poetry. Leave the hoochie baseball on your show.
Well, this was a child-friendly show up until just now. I consider yourself reprimanded, Miidnight, by Mama Fox.
Midnight on the
I would say respect your elders. I would tell her respect her elders, but we ain't gonna go there.
okay.
That's right.
Y'all need to stop. I'm 46 years old, okay? I am not a baby.
Oh, so cute. 46.
Chance?
I think the chance the last time we had an impromptu show because our guest had to cancel, and Onyx and Miidnight were on the screen together, and Miidnight established that when he wrote his first poem that he recited earlier, Onyx and Gemini were still busy playing patty cake.
I don't think Onyx was alive when he wrote his first poem. Yeah, I don't think Onyx was even thought about.
She was still cooking. She's still being cooked.
Are y'all
Yeah.
are y'all
And she's still being
now?
cooked.
Are you done? Are you done? Don't blame me. I came of age in some of the best musical times ever. The 80s was the shiznit, so don't blame me because y'all were already like from
I graduated in the 80s. How about that?
I beg your pardon?
Your turn. I graduated in the 80s.
Well, you did not pick up enough from there. Go back.
Oh, dear me. Gemini, we have spoken before. You've got to be polite to our guests.
Rainier, don't make me. All I'm saying, don't make me.
You know, it's professional courtesy to guests.
I was nice. I was being nice, and then they had to go ahead and bring up my age, and then, of course, the dragon's going to come out.
Yeah, you're aging gracefully. It's all good.
Enjoy it.
Midnight's aging like chocolate milk, but you.
So March you've got Tampa. Is that the next planned roadshow together?
Hopefully.
Yeah, we're working it out. Well, really, I have to work it out because I am scheduled to be in New York in May for someone wants me to come out and host a $10,000 slam that they're putting together. So I'm scheduled to go to that. And March is my spring break, and the idea is to spend some time with the family. So we may be going to New York in March, but it may be just to spend some time in Sarasota and Tampa, Orlando area. So we all do once I figure it out, it may be just doing the show on the 23rd. So then it gives Miidnight time to go watch men play with balls and bats and stuff. So I'm sorry, the inaugural opening day of Mets baseball, not men playing with balls and bats, even though that's what it
I'm
is.
going home, baby.
But you
So
said
we'll figure it out.
it was men playing with their balls and bats. Well, 'cause they're not
Yeah,
playing with
balls and bats.
Mhm. I rest my case. Poetry has spoken.
You know what?
Hmm?
A week before baby Jesus' birthday, we walked into a sterile room, masked like surgeon before a pandemic, held the hand of the best part of our extended family. She knew little about who was holding her hand, even if she cared for him all of his adolescence. Her nose searching for a familiar smell, she played Simon Says with whatever moment her memory decided to recall. Most times, we tried to reset it. Most times, we have to play memory with her memory, matching names with pictures, knowing we would never win. Our new normal consisted of picking her up for baths, making her pretty for pictures. She would laugh at us. That's a phone, not a camera. It's how far removed she is. You know what? 2 days before baby Jesus' birthday, we form a circle. We hold hands. We seek counsel. We hear doctor. Have to call priest. Call nurse. Inform family. Touch hands. Kiss forehead. Nurse watches her smile fade. Watches as we shed tear. My mother yells for her sister. It's okay. It's okay. Go rest. We'll be okay.
Hmm. Hmm. That one needs to breathe.
Let's go back into history when the world wasn't really that much different. The date, April 15, 1947, Jackie Robinson breaks tradition, creating a new baseball game. Then Larry Reginald Doby will soon follow the footsteps of tomorrow for one Henry Louis Aaron. See, he grew up in Jim Crow society, less opportunity, hitting bottle caps with sticks, swinging at rocks, breaking windows, his make-believe baseball games. The reality, racial segregation in public spaces, facilities for African Americans were without fail inferior. Since Jim Crow institutionalized economic, educational, and social disadvantages, the evil that Henry, nicknamed the Hammer, went through provided a clear view of what our country thinks of me and you. America tells us to work hard and not complain. Believe in the American dream. Give the best of your ability. But as he closed on breaking the all-time home record of Babe Ruth, he experienced American history. They, the KKK, Knight of America, wrote letters. Dear Mr. Nigger, if you do not retire, your family will inherit a great hit of trouble. To make it clearer, death. It seems that racism was chasing Aaron as he chased the record, having already witnessed the assassinations of MLK and Malcolm X. These variety of threats, only one needed to be true. Recognizing the importance of this movement for equality, Hammer and Hank would not be intimidated. Let's go back into history. April 1974, baseball game of the week. Vince Scully makes the call. What a marvelous moment for baseball. Atlanta, the country, the world. A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South. Before then, there could not be two more opposite men. There's a new home run champion of the world of all time, and his name is Henry Aaron. This could be seen all over the country and all over the world. I hope you are watching. Let's go back into history. 2021, January 6th. White privilege still exists through domestic terrorists. Do you see this? Or did you see you and I gassed, shot, beaten while peacefully fighting again for Black Lives Matter? In the words of Vince Scully, this could be seen all over the world and all over the country. I hope you are watching.
I'm going to let you go first there, Gemini. You're going to say something?
To encapsulate emotion so well. Both of you did that. And to think that the subject matter.
Oh, good.
That's a chocolate. Okay. You're stupid. To encapsulate emotion so well, but not to just encapsulate it and just have it there. To deliver it and have me feel it, both from a personal experience and then from a shared lived history and existence in the United States. I can't wait to like hug your necks and like show you off to everybody. Like I just can't. Like that's
Bro, you want your neck hug?
my highest form of expression is like me hugging you and then sharing you with every single human being that I know, and then my cat. That's my highest form of appreciation and expression. Ask anyone in my circles, I'm the hugger in the group. Like that's me. That's how I express myself. But like then I'm gonna be dragging you around to every open mic and everybody I know. So just be prepared. I'm just saying.
That's what's up.
We don't talk about white sheets mid-air floating around like Casper, especially when our forefathers wore pointy sheets under their curled wigs. Picture me fighting in imagination when I have more deities to consume my time. You play with ghosts. We are not the same. We don't talk about floating figures. Halloween comes once a year. Dia de los Muertos is celebrated for a week. We have offerings and shrines for transitioned ones. We look at daily. Goblins and ghouls don't call my attention much when I still yearn for my grandparents' blessings. High fevers as a kid had me hallucinating and seeing images moving about on the ceiling. Mother called it a gift. Neighbors called it interesting. Teachers deemed it attention-seeking. Blessed children are often misdiagnosed and labeled difficult because sensitivity isn't taught in schools. Because teaching degrees don't include cultural awareness. Ghosts is the look on the pale people's face when they confuse terms of endearment for slander due to lack of knowledge. I don't compete with ghosts when ancestors walk with me daily.
I gotta let that marinate. I heard it from somebody else before though, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Oh man, this crime scene will go unseen despite peering eyes from across the street, as primary witness will never take the stand, not because of threatening nor the breaking of code, loyalty to the hood, because we know snitches get stitches. Commotion. Red and blue flashing lights appear, pistols raised in the air. 2 men in blue unload guns. Crime scene do not cross. Police investigation. Cover-up begins. Amir Locke, Stephen Clark, and so many others. Despite peering eyes from across the street, cops claiming self-defense, police reviews last long enough for anyone to think to ask, whatever happened to the shootings of months ago? The story disappears. Shootings without video or vigorous investigations, not one individual will be held accountable. Despite peering eyes from across the street, this crime scene will go unseen, as primary witness will never take the stand. A settlement to hush the family. Peering eyes still see video kept confidential, living proof that no one ever lunged at officer, maintaining false narratives of events. Despite peering eyes from across the street, the shooting of another unarmed African American, occasionally they might indict, sacrifice to protect the system they created. Forever classified as a good shooting, evidence will never be told, unresolved. Many cold cases, crying, reflecting on puddles of blood. Another young black man dies prematurely. There's no peace of mind for the families. There were witnesses, but not one of them could step up and speak, reveal what they've seen and heard, because unfortunately, tree branches are just television for the birds.
Man, you guys just, I could sit there listening for hours, and when it ends, they're going, give me more.
It was Booker T. Washington Junior High School, 54, Harlem, New York City. While other kids went to the other numbered schools, I stayed the straight and narrow bilingual student, aced math and science, but disliked social studies, history. I studied social cues. I noticed how the girls liked the bad dudes, but not me. I was too afraid of my mother in junior high school. 2 steps away from the norm. I mean, the only way to get out of this neighborhood was rapping, clapping, or busting your gun. I used basketball as my way out. The basketball was able to take me places my mother couldn't afford. So instead of running with the drug dealers of using my gun, I did the next best thing. Listen to the coaches asking me to run. Listen to the coaches asking me to be the floor general. My high school years weren't easier. While everyone was more concerned with going to the popular school around the way, my mother decided to send me to a school that would give me something someday. I must admit, the hour commute was a bit much, but it saved me from a lot more than I would have gotten into growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in. With you, the only thing you have to look for are drug dealers, and look up to every few men who are in any position to be a role model whenever around, because they were too busy making a life of their own, making a life for their families that would seldomly see them. And I appreciated them for their hard work and ambition, but I didn't appreciate was that they weren't around to talk to many of us, that weren't around to give us a helping hand and let us know that we were going in the right direction. But we were used to that. We were used to not having men around. I mean, it was just an add-on to all the absentee fathers. Have friends who blame cows for killing their daddy since their daddy went out for milk and never came home, but we apologize for the immaturity. We understand what it's like for a man to raise a child when they've never had a clear indication of what fatherhood looked like. You learn to develop your own opinion. You may be a product of your environment. Like, you can also be the exception to the rule. Drugs was too hard for me, and I never passed history. But I know prison or a casket were the only 2 options. And to be fair, if you lucky enough, you probably get shot or end up in a wheelchair. I decided school was a way to stay clear. I'm proud of not having ever to sit in a cell to find healing. I was too concerned with coming home to my mother's beatings. I mean discipline, not beatings, a discipline. Single mother of 3, teaching 2 boys to be men. Listen, at times I saw bended fork, and just to be straight, attended a few less graduations than funerals and wakes. Life expectancy so low, I flirted with a will at 18. That's what Jay-Z said. They say I'm the new 20 now. I respect the double dub. I searched for the wisdom to show through, never like the forks in the road. So I dug a new path with this rusty ass spoon.
Dating. It sometimes feels like you're shopping on a clearance rack, sorting through colors, brown, white, or black, finding something that looks good, but that's no longer you. While some clothes capture your attention, you realize you shouldn't wear a sweater in June. It's those glaring blemishes on material you've already donated, that outfit that you held on too long after the fabric was outdated. Similes of dating short and sweet. Ending this with a haiku to make this poem complete. Fashions come and go. Our love, only a short film. We will just be friends.
I was never one to follow the same path as everyone else, perhaps cultural differences and fear of my opinionated mother's tongue curved my willingness to venture out. Was never one to do what others did. I loved hip hop, but this curly afro that resembled Ronald McDonald couldn't be shaped into a Gumby or a flat top. Braids was the furthest I went. Never had 3 cuts on my eyebrows trying to wild out. If I was known to be the one to wild out, only grills we knew were the one on cars and cookouts. Too poor to invest in gold teeth. When keeping them white was a struggle, we platinum our teeth with gun wrappers. Wrap my mind around images of drug dealers and rappers, but I'm less interested in images. I'm more interested in integrity. I studied the boy in the mirror, looked at the features, and asked about certain features. I studied the teen in the mirror, hated puberty, acne, and facial hair. Looking back at the young adult in the mirror, I should have been better. Should have never made girls, young ladies, before they were ready to. Should have never omitted the truth, even though it was something you were willing to do. I studied the adult in the mirror, saw the extra weight, the change in hair. The grays are there. My kids are there. My wife is there. The guilt of my youth is there. The teen growing facial hair is still there. They're all looking back at me, trying to figure out who the hell is this stranger.
Wow.
You know, it's funny, we don't normally perform, we don't do poems on our own platform, so this is fun.
I'm glad y'all are having fun. I'm enjoying this. I definitely am.
You have a prettiness that goes beyond the surface. But you got me thinking, wondering at the possibility how amazing it would be to carry your beautiful every day with me if I was your bra. I would hold you fixed inside the size of your cup, experience every bounce wherever we walked. I would cuddle your nipples rubbing next to me, feel you shift from sensitive to erect, soft to tender again, if I was your bra. I would clutch the taste of your moisture, and within the folds of your breasts, I'd inhale your alluring scent, sketching rings around your areola the moment black lace peeks through satin red robe, playing a different game of dress-up. If I was your bra, I would never want to be taken off, but if removed, I'd still hold your breasts forever, imaginations without boundaries, lathered with what little soap that is left, teasing, tantalizing, arousing from heartbeat to chest, heavy breathing from showered head liberations, anticipation of a forthcoming fingering, cleanse in the most pleasurable places, sending sensations until suds are fully rinsed. My fantasy, a beautiful dream, if I was your bra.
Kill with you. Oh, my face is hot.
It really shows the the width, the breadth of your capabilities in writing, on varied topics, the breadth of topics, both of you, what you've been reciting, I'm so glad we've been able to showcase your work. I have not, other than looking through Chance's work on his book and hearing you guys do that collab on your Zoom put it in the chat. I haven't, and I think Chance, I heard you once recite a couple of pieces on Arsenio's show. Other than that, I have not been blessed to hear you guys live, like perform or your work. So I'm so glad, as much as you guys are enjoying doing it, you're delivering your pieces. I'm enjoying really my ears hearing this, but also showcasing the depth of your talent and your personalities to the community. It really is a pleasure.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Can you define personality?
What was that one? I missed that.
I'm just asking for the audience for you to define personality.
Y'all are bad. Well, any other way, it wouldn't be as much fun if y'all were not bad. If y'all were not always jamming at each other.
All right, real talk. It's weird because of the balance. We don't need each other, but we're better right now. We're really good together.
I can see that each of you can stand on your own, but the mix is like an 8-ball. And I don't think I've ever had an 8-ball, but I heard that it's good, but the mix is like an 8-ball.
What?
Chance?
Oh my
what are you doing with the 8-ball?
I've never been inebriated. Ever. And my list of drinks are very limited. So Bailey's wine, hard apple cider, White Russian, everything is mixed. Mudside, as you can see, a lot of them are milky, and maybe a hurricane. That's my repertoire. I don't know much of any. Oh, and plum.
Yeah, she reeling them off the top of her head. You know that's experience.
No, it's not.
I don't drink much, but when I do, I make sure I have all of these drinks at the same time.
The length of my list is as long as my arm. Yes.
Yeah.
An alcoholic. Yes.
Don't let me open this cabinet.
Yeah, I don't drink much, but when I do, I make sure everyone drinks with me.
I did not say that I don't drink much. I said I've never been inebriated. I've never been drunk.
Oh, high tolerance.
No, low tolerance. If I have a
that comes from all the other drugs you've done in your life. I get it. It's no problem.
No,
I get it.
Definitely not. I'm from the Caribbean. I don't smoke.
I
don't like nicotine either.
What? Caribbean people only smoke? Yeah, inhale cement glue. What are you talking about?
Don't worry.
You people
look back.
Inhale cement glue for fun. As a pastime, I buy bottles of cement glue and inhale them.
What? Who?
Caribbean folk.
I don't know which Caribbean folk you're talking about, that new age nonsense, but not us, no.
Not your era? Y'all had that good drugs?
We did not do drugs. The only thing that was around when I was growing up is marijuana and alcohol.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that. I'm good.
So sheltered.
So
you want us to believe?
No. I'm not sheltered. I had alcoholics in my family, and that just I think I have never been drunk because a part of me thinks that there is some type of addictive gene. So that's why I said and then the marijuana, I'm not Rastafarian, and where I come from, Rastafarians smoke marijuana and they connect to the spirits and whatever, but it's perpetrating for me if I smoke marijuana. I just
Where
I feel attacked.
Midnight comes
I feel
from.
attacked.
Yeah.
I feel attacked.
Where Midnight comes from, everybody smokes.
well, I guess that's why Colorado's a happy place.
Now you know what? Check this out.
I meant Brooklyn.
I was about 8 years old. I was in Jamaica, right? And my cousin, a cousin of mine, had me puff a cigarette. One puff. My father smoked till he was 85, but that one puff got me a beating that I remembered for 54 years. I ain't touching none of that shit. I ain't messing with that ever. It equaled cigarettes equal a beating.
No,
I'm like, I'm good.
you have to say that right. Cigarette, one puff of cigarette equal a Caribbean beating. There's no child welfare services. There's none of that. Like when you get a beating, you get an actual. If the belt broke, you getting beat with what's left of it. If the switch broke, you better hope that you're not outside because she won't pick the whole tree. Yeah, beat down.
If we are blessed to be able to meet in March, we'll have to add that to the list of things to do. Get Foxy inebriated.
Uh-oh.
No.
That'll be a show on its own. Watching her, I mean, like inebriated. Can you imagine Can you imagine the inebriated version of Gemini? My goodness, that's going to be a show on its own.
No, you see, and that
twirling in a dress.
Because anybody who wants to watch what happens when I don't need to be drunk. I hug everybody now. I am very comfortable with people. I don't want to do all of that and then pass out. That sends the wrong message. So yeah, we're not going to be touchy with everybody and then pass out drunk. No.
Makes sense. You want to do it sober. That's cool. Good job. I get it.
Yes, I do. I'm not.
I want to be
there.
very well aware of
sober with one person continuously for the next 50 years or so. Exactly.
Yes. I want to sodomize you while I'm still aware that I'm doing it. That's what we want to do here. Yeah.
You have to remember to say it. I want to be able to semi-violate you for the rest of our lives together.
Yes.
That's exactly what I want.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah.
You know why I like it? Because I told her she was beautiful. Before knowing what the word meant, I was rude. I would stare when I knew not to. Her skin, café con leche, good girls like bad boys, and young boys like older women. She was 4 years my senior. That's tons of experience to look forward to for a 9-year-old, but she was the bad girl in the making. You know why? She went to Catholic school. We met in purity was common when Saturday basketball programs were common. Project kids with enough money to propose with a ring pop. Cherry if you're special. Heavy D was hip hop. And that was nothing but love for you, baby. It wasn't that I was wrong. It was just that I was just too early. I didn't know we would be reunited. Man, did it feel so good. She left the hood, but never the space nestled in my arteries. She was the butterflies in my stomach. It was just hard for her to see them. That I made myself visible. Some may call it stalking. Okay, maybe I was stalking, but I made sure I was in her line of vision so she can see her future before her. But she was a senior, and I was a freshman. This curly afro again that could be seen from far away. I had better chances of doing calculus than having her in my arms. So with courage and fear and a little bit of corny, I told her the best part of my day was seeing her smile. I knew I wasn't wrong. I just wanted to be flirty. It wasn't until she experienced life 20 years removed from each other's presence that I was gifted with her message. I don't know if you remember me. Certain things in life don't escape me too easily. I remember her exclamation perfume when we hugged, period two. I later inhaled the memory of her in my living room. I married the girl I have known since I was 9, just in time. And it wasn't that I was wrong. I just happened to be too early.
That is
He got another side. You talk about the space she left in my arteries. Ooh.
so cute. Like I can just be like gushing, like, oh, that is so cute. Okay, now I want to meet her.
See, Gemini. For example, anybody can relate to it, so it becomes a timeless piece. You got me? It's almost like a timeless piece. It's directed to one person, but people can relate to it. You see me?
That's
Beautiful.
That's my version of the bra poem.
Oh my God. Phil,
That's
Hey,
my
look,
bra poem.
Phil.
you don't want to hear my married poem anyway. Question.
Yeah, we don't want to hear that horror flick.
Now, question. What makes a woman sexy? Is it just a gift or something attached to an alarm clock? Does sexy ever stop? You see, some women have a persona or a femininity with an exclamation mark of sensual sexuality. But my question to you is this. In what ways are you still sexy? Having gone through life challenges, those dumbass boyfriends, the premature I love yous, the difficult marriage you might have went through, I'm telling you, lady, sexy ain't never left you. Years of pushing your babies in a carriage, being put in the same old category, people assuming that same old story. Well, that's just another welfare mother without a legit father. Walking the aisles in a grocery store, trying to figure out how to stretch these dollars to buy you more. Yet if someone saw a man in public with his children doing what he's supposed to, they want to give him more praise than you. You probably say screw him, because all he ever did was screw you over. See, sex is not about what you wear or how you walk and talk. Sex is about what's in your heart, what's in your mind, doing what you do to feed, clothe, nurse, back to health, being a parent and a part, but all of the time. Sexy never left. Never having a moment to sit back, relax, and unwind. Carrying your own load and other people asking, well, can you help take on mine? Sexy is that caliber woman that won't stand for less, the type of woman that takes pride in the parents of herself and her children. Sexy is your confidence and perfectly perfect for deserving man. I'm telling you, sexy ain't never left you. Now, some would say and comment on the size of your chest or the shape of your behind, even with an extra pound or two. Sexy is cute. Sexy is so much still you. You see, sexy makes me want to perform magic from my fingertips against your skin to arouse in us to kiss and touch. Maybe love, desire, passion takes over you and I. Sexy, oh, it is what it is, but it has never, ever left you.
I'm glad you read the version I edited for you. That's awesome. It sounds a lot better than that other stuff he was doing. Cool. I am is in the building. Lil Wicked 01. That is I am. She is an awesome artist. Thank you for being here.
You know my baby.
Excuse me?
You know my baby. I am.
Yeah. Yes.
What the frick?
I saw the road word up here.
That's my baby.
I am is your baby?
That's one of my babies. Yes.
No, she's my baby first sitter.
Look, just because she left New York and came to Tampa and I met her, that doesn't mean that she's your baby first.
She's my baby first sitter than yours.
No,
nope.
She's your home girl, but she's my baby.
Nope, she's my baby first sitter than yours.
Damn it.
So, what's this artist's name?
I am. That's her name, her pen name, and her handle is
Lil Wicked
01_1014.
Hey, you not everybody, baby. You better cut it out.
Oh no. You see, I'm willing to share with Chance, but now you're saying that you're everybody's baby? No, we're gonna have to when we meet.
Well,
because My hug back.
Little Wicked, you're blessed. You've got a couple of greats here fighting over ownership of you here, so you must be in great demand. You must should be honoured.
Fighting. My hugs are like.
I want to know Little Wicked too.
She's awesome.
Yes,
You know what? She's gonna come on to put it in the chat. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna spotlight that. Put it in the chat. She's good people.
She featured for
Rainier, what were you expecting?
Where's she from? Where's she from?
Excuse me?
Where's Little Wicked from?
New York.
I know.
You were going to say something, Stephanie?
I'm waiting to hear where in New York she's from, because apparently New York is not a place. It's just like a continent, and there are different countries in there.
Read it and weep.
She's from the...
okay.
From the Bronx.
Read it and weep. Read it and weep.
Whatever.
It's unbelievable how two letters so far apart can cause so much heartache and pain to this young man.
Yo. Rainier, I'm from Brooklyn before I'm from New York. Trust. You gotta understand that.
Rainier,
I'm from Brooklyn before I'm from New York.
Rainier, that means nothing to you, so it doesn't matter. It means nothing to you.
Hey. Little Wicked understand it. Chance understand it. I saw Advocate up in here. He get it. He knows.
Rainier, what did you expect with the invitation of Mighty Mouse and myself here? What were you expecting to get?
I think I definitely got what I expected. I expected some really good heartfelt poetry because, as I said, I was not blessed to hear a lot of your work before. And I expected the banter like we do on the after party on Put It in the Chat.
The facts.
But but what it did do is reinstate my belief in you both, and it did reinstate that my judgment, that first impression of character, is still very much in tune. You proved everything that I suspected of both of you. You really did show a genuine bond of friendship. And really, COVID was not in the distant past. In the short time, you have bonded so well.
So it's interesting because before, I've only really known Miidnight in human form since March. And people thought we were friends forever. They was, oh, you know, your brotherhood. I'm like, I still haven't met this guy. Like, he could be a total catfish when I go to New York. On screen, he looked like he's, 5'11". Then you meet up with him, and he's like, he's a pocket version of what I thought he was. I was like, what are we doing here? But yeah, so that was the interesting thing, is that everybody was just like, yo, yeah, I've known each other for so long, and it was just, and I had to tell people, like, no, I haven't. Like, I still don't know, dude. But that's what it is. It is the connections that you make with people, and it's cool. We banter, we go back and forth, we joke around a lot, and we do speak the truth about each other. But it's funny because when we went to New York, first stop was BBQs. We had to go to BBQs. There's no BBQs anywhere else, so we had to go to BBQs. We went to BBQs, and we sat there, and it was surreal because we was like, yo, we're finally here all together. And then it was just like, what do we do now? Right? Because there was nothing to talk about, really. Because we've already passed that stage, and it was just like, yo, I'm meeting my brother again. I haven't seen him in 7 years. Let me meet up with him. So it wasn't like, there wasn't this whole hype about, the TV when you run into each other's arms and hug. I haven't seen you in so long. It was none of that. It was just a good, cool, great meeting when we first met. And then to do the show live together for the first time and still understand, like, yo, all right, you finish here, then we're going to go and then we're going to do this and whatever. That was just like so amazing. I was just like, this is what it is.
Yeah, would be, certainly would be. And as you said, in that short time, the depth of your friendship, your connection is just amazing, and it comes through in the poetry as well, the pieces you've written as well, right? The depth of your connections even evident there, So, when you run your...
And the thing about the connection too is we don't just talk poetry, We'll talk about life and all that good stuff and like this, that, and the other. It go. That's what's cool. It's not just, all right, I'll talk to you about poetry. Talk to you later. Talk to you in 2 weeks. We'll talk 2 times a week, just to catch up. You good? All right, cool.
Nice.
That was in the contract that I signed. I'm like, okay.
Was it like a bromance prenup? You have a bromance prenup that we have to talk 2 times a week?
It came with a text that said, please. Oh, wow. Really? You don't know nobody else?
No.
Wow.
There's a comment in there. This dude is boring. Please, folks, I'm not putting a gun to your head and asking you to stay in the show. If it's not your cup of tea, please leave the room. But feel welcome to leave the room.
Kick them out. I already blocked them, whoever it was. That's disrespectful.
Reflective transcendence.
So, got no
That's
idea.
La India del Sol. Don't ever block anybody. Don't do that. At least not for us.
They're here
No.
listening, so you're doing your job.
Yeah.
They listening. They're doing it. You're doing your job. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, just reinstate her.
Reinstate her.
That's
one of your people.
Don't block her. No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the topic on hand. And look, it's appreciated that not everybody's cup of tea. And if I go to a meeting, I don't like it, I get the fuck up and walk out. Right? That's simple as that.
I mean, when you're self-proclaimed the goddess of poetic collective, and you're a Reiki master, I mean, you have a higher power to respond to. So I'm not worried about that. I don't offend easily. 1, 2. I'm her favorite poet's favorite poet, so it doesn't matter to me. There's certain things you can control, and there's other things you really can't control, so you leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it be. Let it be. Let it be.
Well, I did not block her for anybody else but me. That was me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Take out from there or anything. So if she's there, she's still there.
Yo, so hey, Rainier, Gemini, I'm still at work.
I want my mother poem before y'all leave. I want the mother poem before.
Oh,
but check this out. I got 24-hour access to the building, but I ain't got 24-hour access to the garage. I got to get my car.
All right, so
let's close in a half hour.
Well,
let's end there.
That's pretty good, because that will by the time we finish that and wrap up, would have been a nice 3-hour show, and I've got to say it's been a pleasure every minute of it. So, stage is yours.
Hey, appreciate Appreciate it, man. Very much appreciate it, man.
Right.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
And it won't be the last time either. But before you go, we'll talk before you, when you finish the piece, before you go, we'll have a talk there.
All right, cool. Yo, me and this guy come from a long line of trash talking, quick wits and insults, with and without audience. For example, the Bronx. It's so grimy, even Santa wears a bulletproof.
That's wrong.
The dozens. The way you dress, economic status, physical characteristics, puns with exaggerated comparisons. For me, centered around facts. Brooklyn, home of baseball great Roy Campanella, Fort Greene, Brooklyn, gave us Mike Tyson. We took from the Bronx and got the whole rap game on lock. From Biggie to Jay-Z, Brooklyn helped elevate hip-hop. Yo, BX, you can have your adopted son, Hector Macho Camacho. We got to go to basketball, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So any sport, he, John Chance Acevedo, whatever you want to call it, heat or smoke, we Brooklyn. He don't want this.
Smoke is what's left over after I light his little ass on fire. The dozens is a sport. Where the microphone's a basketball course, it's easy for me to switch characters if all I have to do is change a shirt. I can show you how this middle finger hurt. Ayo, Brooklyn, this is who you sent to represent you? A Jewish dude from Crown Heights would have done just do.
It's the chemistry that you see. Respect for me, for my brother, the same I would have closer than a brethren.
That's why you will never, ever, ever hear us exchange any of your mama jokes.
Consuelo Acevedo.
My mother.
A mother of three, single-handedly. Her long days made for shorter nights. Responsibility. Hustle each day into tomorrow.
Mi vieja.
His mother, Consuelo Acevedo, had two choices named day after day. Crying on the inside, deep-seated determination from face situations. Victorosia no victima. Wishing that her children would have had a good father. Her sacrifices were never a reflection of one's worth. Caring for other people's dirt. A welcoming whistle while she worked. Walking with the elders. Consuelo Acevedo. Tu Madre Guerra.
Gwendolyn Curtis.
My mother.
A mother of three. Must have been a gardener the way she cared for a rose and extended an olive branch for us to be blessed for her son.
At 7 o'clock. Please make sure your vehicle is out of the parking structure before 7, so there's no danger of being locked in. Thank you and have a good weekend.
Gwendolyn Curtis.
My mother.
A mother of three. Must have been a gardener the way she cared for a rose and extended an olive branch for us to be blessed with her son.
My mother.
Received angel wings before the sun can shine on her son's turn of a calendar. He gained guardian angel and billionaire philanthropist simultaneously. Father heart skipped a beat. Coconut water never tasted the same. Rice and peace missed love. Imagine replacing a mother's hug with a sister's embrace. Your father remarries, never to replace your mother, but was forced to give this woman divorce papers because she didn't feel like competing with stepchildren. There's a good man, so it makes sense that this dude may be a good man too. But I'm not used to fathers sticking around.
Neither him nor me ever saw mother and father picture framed for memories.
I don't know what it's like not to have my mother.
My so many unanswered questions.
I feel like I take her for granted. A phone call is long overdue.
We dish each other dirt.
But you will never ever hear us exchange any of your mother jokes?
Consuelo Acevedo.
My mother, Gwendolyn Curtis.
My mother.
The respect,
The respect
we
we have
for each other.
for each other.
That was beautiful.
That I'm glad you got to hear that performed, Gemini. And folks, to those who will perhaps watch the replay on Instagram, watch the YouTube channel, or listen to the podcast, you just had the reason for why you need to watch it to the end. That sort of synchronicity, that sort of mutual respect for each other's mothers, that sort of delivery, that sort of heartfelt message can only come from the heart. That can't be written by a cognitive sort of approach to your writing. And that seals and nails the depth of your bond, my friends. There are many marriages in this world, of friends even, that don't have that kind of depth of connection, even after 20, 30, 40 years of marriage. That is true friendship. That is true respect for a fellow human from another culture, from a different placement. Folks, whoever listens to this, you've just had the very reason to watch this and listen to the podcast to the end. Amazing. Amazing. And Chance,
I appreciate you, brother.
Man, that's...
Thank you both.
No, I
So-
feel so blessed. I am just, I don't know what to do with myself. And I know to cry, to smile, to laugh, just I've been really low. And I cannot tell you how filled my tank is right now. Thank you so much for not holding back and sharing every aspect of yourselves and the poetry, and to letting us witness the bond that you two have. The jokes, I appreciate every single bit of it. Thank you so much for agreeing to come and to sit in the interviewee spot, because you guys are used to being the ones interviewing. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate you.
So Miidnight, Chance, when I share this on Instagram, I'll add you two as well as Gemini as collaborators, so you can just review it and accept, then it'll post on your pages. When I do create the YouTube link and the podcast, I'll send you those links as well. It's in general, all your Spotify's, etc. The other thing I will say is, look, globally there's unrest and turmoil all over, right? Between the Middle East, between everything like that, and the crime rates, the homelessness, the poverty increasing, blah, 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 blah. Look, the world's not a nice stage in many parts. But you two, and what you have shown, and what the friendship you have shown, the bond you have shown, the work you have shown, shows that life isn't that bad. There are still beautiful things, even in amongst the darkest times. You really do. And Gemini and I are blessed to have you as guests on this show, and it won't be the last time, I hope.
And
We've got
He ain't got no more
We've
material.
Midnight, I
got our
don't know
young
how much-
friend.
Oh, go ahead, my love.
We've got our young friend Onyx. Pity on Instagram allows only 4 people on the screen, because Onyx has been faithfully supporting you here as well on the show, and she's on the 15th of December from memory, or 22nd of December. 22nd. Robert's on the 15th, and I think 22nd of December she's on just before Christmas. So looking forward to hosting that young lady as well, who's always
I see
Beautiful
Miidnight.
soul.
Please utilize all of the muscles that you've been building up at the gym to make it to that parking garage.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got security on call.
I'm just saying, like,
They
I
know
would
me.
hate for you to spend the weekend at the office just because of me.
Oh no, he'll be. He can walk home. It's not that far.
Well, as always,
I can walk home, but I'll be stuck home as well.
as always, Gemini, thank you for helping me with this show and being part of this show. It's always a pleasure to work with you and have you share the hosting of this show with me. And Chance, Miidnight, a heartfelt thanks for agreeing to come on the show and for, as Gemini said, exposing and delivering and showcasing every aspects of you. And as I said, I've never sat in my armchair with dreams. I've gone and lived my life. So when people ask me what's in your bucket list, I go nothing. But you just gave me an item to add to a bucket list. Hopefully next March to be if I can, God willing, if I can be there and meet all three of you lovely people, it'll contribute to putting a smile on my last breaths that I take.
I appreciate that. I'm glad. I'm glad I was able to make it. Thank you for allowing us to be on this platform. I'm the spokesperson. Miidnight doesn't know how to give praise, so thank you very much. It was an awesome opportunity to meet all new people and all these beautiful people that you are associated with, and I appreciate you truly. And Gemini, you are a gem. Thank you for what you do, and always being positive and seeing the good in people that don't deserve it, like you know, that guy. I'm just trying to talk
Yeah, I'm
long
letting
enough.
him talk.
I'm trying to talk
I'm letting
long
him
enough
talk
so
because
Miidnight can get stuck in his office.
Okay, now it's time to say goodbye to all our company.
MIT, see you real soon. KY, why? Because we like you. MOUSE.
Why? I thought you
Miidnight.
was gonna do the. I thought you was gonna do the what's this guy's
artist?
name? No, I
No.
thought he was gonna do. I thought he was gonna do the Eddie Murphy buckwheat version on SNL.
Oh. No, I don't want them to get thrown off of IG for saying stuff. I'm like,
We've
whoa, can I say
been
that?
saying a lot of stuff. Thank goodness we're poetry and everything has been metaphor and double entendre. That's the only thing that's been saving us.
That's it.
No, I skipped a couple words. Yo, I gotta go. I still gotta go downstairs and pick up these people's paperwork so I could make sure it's done by the weekend. I don't feel like doing nothing on Monday.
All right, brother. Thank you. It's officially been
Much
3
love,
hours.
appreciate it.
It's
I
been
appreciate
the
you guys.
most. It's been the
Yeah,
most
3
pleasurable.
hours out of my life with this dude. Come on now.
It's been the most
Ridiculous.
pleasurable
Yo,
3 hours of my life. It really has been a joy. It
Yo,
really has.
Likewise.
I gotta call the cleaning people on Monday because they ain't picking up no more. My garbage, I have to throw it outside because they ain't coming pick up. Like, yo, it's stupid.
You
Stands
put a
my first world
sign here,
problems.
Miidnight.
right?
Forget about the trash. Go to the parking lot, please. I
Yeah,
don't
let me
want it
get
on
out
my
of here.
conscience walking
I'm
around
out.
in the snow.
Put it on neutral and
Ain't no
push.
snow.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Gemini, and thank you, Onyx, and all the other guests that have come in and out of the room. And for those who will probably watch the replay, see you all next week at same time, same back channel.
Oh, let's not talk about
Oh,
Batman.
no, we have to go now. Hi, bye. Good night, everybody.
Stay blessed. Stay safe, brothers. Gemini. Bye.
Bye.